This story's Elisa. She is running away while pregnant. Looking at the vast, immense sea, Elisa touched her belly and thought, when can I return? Someday, when time has passed, if only for a single word. He and I were only together for less than a year. Why does Richard remain so clearly in my mind? At this moment, a gust of wind came, and appearing with it was a young man, with a cold face and powerful red eyes. Elisa called that person Richard. Elisa started to remember his words. I will definitely come find you. Why do I remember those words? Can I run away? No matter where I set foot, I won't be able to escape the man who comes like the wind. Richard, having just landed, immediately asked, if you keep running away like this, do you think I won't be able to find you? Where do you intend to take my child? To better understand this relationship, let's go back 7 years to the Grand Duchy of Rublin. Lady Elisa, the Duke is looking for you. Yes, I know. My name is Elisa Rublin. That's right. I was reincarnated into a novel. That much is acceptable. But why was I reincarnated into a 19-plus novel? My real name was Selgina. I was 20 years old, someone who was always engrossed in romance novels. Then, a sudden accident caused me to die. At that time, I thought, is this the end? But when I opened my eyes, I was in someone else's body. Not long after my panic, I was able to figure out my situation. But I had been reincarnated into a 19-plus novel I had read called Birdcage, and I was also playing the role of the male villain's birth mother. In the original novel, Elisa grew up in the Duke's house, but she was actually an orphan. As a result of a lack of affection, she was very dependent on Richard. But in the end, Richard caused her to die. Someone who lacked parental affection now died at the hands of her own husband. I don't want to die like that. Your Grace, I have brought the young lady to the palace. According to the novel, Elisa will die in 10 years. From now until then, I will change this fate. The man in front of me is Anne Berulin, a powerful man who holds the greatest power in the empire, both in name and in reality. The head of Rublin is known as the Storm of Rublin. But a year ago, this man lost both his wife and son. He took a cigarette, brought it to his lips, took a long drag, then said to Elisa, get married. That's what he's telling me. Someone unimportant to his family. That's right. Why would the only ducal family in the empire want a daughter-in-law from a poor family in the suburbs, who is also an orphan? Count Green, Elisa's father, died 3 years ago. Elisa's mother also died in a carriage accident. Elisa was the only survivor of that accident. Even while they were alive, her family had no wealth left because her father had failed in business. An orphan like her, who didn't even have relatives to take care of her. A commoner like me, among all the noble ladies, he chose me first as if he needed me. He said, your job is simple. Just give birth to your husband's heir. That is to say, you can live and enjoy everything your husband has built. On the outside, Elisa sat and listened quietly, but inwardly she was screaming. Hey, I'm practically still a child myself, and you're telling me to give birth? I have a bad feeling about this. In this era, men have a more comfortable life. They just go here and there, do this and that, and finally come home. I mean, a man can live and enjoy a happy family created by his wife's own hands. Just then, the butler came in and said, Your Grace, on his way here, the young Duke encountered a group of bandits, so he might be late. Anne Berulin immediately extinguished his cigarette and replied, There shouldn't be any bandits on the way here. But in any case, the young Duke took the mountain route. Was it necessary to go through the mountains? I heard he would do anything to make the territory safe. It's all useless. If that's the case, he'll be here tonight. And Berulin sighed and thought, the boy doesn't seem happy with this marriage. But he still pointed at the paper and said, sign here. Elisa looked and thought to herself, a marriage certificate. There are still 10 years until Elisa dies in the original novel. What would happen if I don't have a child and don't depend on Richard? Then I'll just live happily in the ducal mansion. Perhaps I could get a considerable amount of money if we divorce. Elisa took the pen and signed with a flourish. There were no clauses to consider. The priest clasped his hands and said, Now, Richard Rublin and Elisa Leon Green, in the presence of the goddess Irene, have officially become husband and wife. May God bless their future life together. Elisa clenched her hands in determination. Everything will happen in this house in 8 years. The place I've been staying in for the past 10 days is extremely luxurious. I wonder if the master's room is different from this? Elisa laid down on the soft bed with a feeling of refreshment. It sounds quiet outside. It seems he hasn't arrived at the mansion yet. Would it be okay if he doesn't come here? Actually, I'm also captivated. Of course, he's very scary. Richard, who died a few years before the original work began. I'm not sure what his personality is like. The last scene I remember was amazing. Please don't come here today. Just as Elisa dozed off for a moment, there was a fluttering sound of wind outside the window. Elisa slowly opened her eyes. The sound of the window. Who's outside the window? Elisa rubbed her eyes and looked more closely to see a boy standing there. He slowly approached the bed, seeing those red eyes. Made Elisa a little scared. Elisa trembled uncontrollably when she saw him reach his hand towards her. She wondered who. Who is he? Elisa shut her eyes tightly in fear and trembled like a drenched rat. At this, Richard frowned in annoyance, not at all pleased. Too young. Richard quickly turned to leave, but when he turned back, the door was locked from the outside. Richard banged on the door and cursed under his breath. These bastards. Elisa was still sitting there, trembling like a puppy left out in an 8-degree storm, and thought, maybe that boy. No. Is that person Richard? The wind. The window is closed. Perhaps that is the power of the Rublin family. That power is sometimes passed down to the descendants who carry the Rublin blood. That power allows them to control the wind. Besides, in the original novel, Richard and his son, Hens, were among those who inherited that power. So, he's about to make that door disappear. Yes, Richard ground his teeth. I will kill all of you. Suddenly, Richard turned his head to look at Elisa, who panicked and hid her head under the blanket. After trembling for a while, Elisa gathered her courage, pulled back the blanket, and saw Richard lying on the sofa with his eyes closed. She wondered, he is my husband. What should I say to him? Then she said, hello, young Duke. My name is Elisa Leon Green, and from now on, my name is Elisa Rublin. It's a pleasure to meet you. But Richard lay still without saying a word in response. Hello, sir? Elisa touched her face. Although I don't know if he's a good boy or a bad boy, but I'm sure of one thing. This person is very rude. The next day, as soon as he met Anne Berulin, Richard said, cancel it. Cancel what? This marriage. Cancel it. It is not easy to cancel a vow witnessed by God. I never said I would keep this promise. So you want to break it? Do you not like the girl's appearance? I understand that the girl is still very young, but her face is easy on the eyes, isn't it? Or do you want to be like me, concerned with feelings? You don't want to marry someone you don't love, right? That's why you two should stay together until you become adults. While waiting, you two should consider the matter of the heir. After that, you can marry any woman you want. I don't care. Richard became furious, stirring up a gale. That's not the issue. Immediately, the room became a mess. Anne Berulin said, you are the sole heir of the family. Your duty now is to welcome your partner and have the next heir. Your position, the things you have now, you must have it all because you are the heir. If you fail in your duty as the heir, you won't be able to keep your current position. Richard retorted, my current position, have I ever asked for it? I have no feelings for that girl whatsoever. So don't bring that girl to my room. Just as Richard turned to leave, he came face to face with Elisa, who was entering. The two of them just silently passed each other. Elisa said, Duke, you just summoned me. Richard, you stay here too. I heard that you did not attend the first meal on the first day of your marriage. Elisa thought to herself, come to think of it, according to the servants, the custom for newlywed couples is to greet the elders of the house on the first day after the wedding, as well as have breakfast together. At first, after I woke up, I was alone in my own room. The Duke didn't appear in the dining room, so I thought it was fine. This morning was the first time you two properly looked at each other, so it might be awkward. You will probably share a room for a while, so please get more intimate with each other. You two should slowly get closer. I made it clear I don't want to share a room with this girl. Husband and wife should sleep in the same bed. Is there a problem? Unable to argue back, Richard angrily left and slammed the door. Such a hot temper. Elisa, I have something to give you. For me? Tomorrow, a tutor will come to teach you about this book. Anne Berulin handed Elisa the book, The Virtues of a Wife, then said, you should study hard to serve the family later. Elisa politely curtsied. Yes, but she thought to herself, it seems this book is a useless one with some outdated content. As soon as she stepped out of that door, Elisa felt relieved. I have to learn this? Oh, dear Lord. Late that night, Elisa, with a heavy heart, asked, is it here? Yes, ma'am. I really don't want to come here at all. Elisa timidly peeked her head through the door, thinking, he's not in the room today, right? But then she was startled when she saw Richard's feet propped up on a chair. Are those Richard's feet? This conversation wasn't just a normal chat between a grandfather and grandson, because everyone knew he only saw Richard as a stud horse. And Richard always resisted that. If so, then the enemy of my enemy is my friend. After letting out a dangerous smile, Elisa spoke up. Hey, little Duke, you seemed very busy yesterday, didn't you? Then let me reintroduce myself. My name is. Richard didn't let Elisa finish and cut her off. Hey, you're too noisy. Elisa's face twisted in anger. This attitude, this black dragon, seems like he's in a bad mood. Huh? Well then, good night. Elisa turned her back and mumbled. What a narrow-minded guy. After Elisa left, Richard cracked open his eyes to peek. After that day, the bridal lessons officially began. The lessons were held in the morning. Embroidery, etiquette, and the necessary manners to become a duchess, and so on. I had to endure the boredom created by these classes and this course. Except for the time I had to study, I was very free, so I could comfortably read the books I liked, worthy of being the library of the best family in the empire. This place was very large and had many different types of books. For someone like me who was still a stranger to this world, this place was very useful to me. In just a few days, the library had become my second home. I felt quite satisfied in many aspects over the past few days. But if there was anything I wasn't satisfied with, it was the relationship between me and Richard. We were supposed to plan the divorce together, but it seems it's just me. Elisa was frowning and staring at Richard when he spoke. Go to sleep. I said go to sleep. I'm not going to eat you up, so let's just sleep together. Elisa held out her hand and said sulkily, Come on, let's hold hands and go to sleep. What? This woman really? Richard recalled. Today, at the library. Seeing Richard dozing off, Elisa quietly brought a blanket over. Before the blanket could even touch Richard's shoulder, her hand was grabbed by him. What is this? I thought you were asleep, so I brought a blanket. Why are you being so serious? I'm wondering who's going to eat whom. Remembering that, Richard asked, Did the Duke tell you those things? That's right. Are you trying to seduce me? Elisa was startled and thought, What? Seduce? There's a misunderstanding here. I think you've misunderstood something here. I have nothing to do with the Duke. Huh? You think I believe those words? I just thought he was a bit difficult because he's going through puberty. But to the point of calling his own grandfather the Duke, I think their relationship isn't very good. You must already know, for someone like me who has lost both parents and has nowhere to go, it was the Duke who bought me and brought me here. I know, but the first problems discovered were family problems. I'm wondering if he trusts anyone at all, since he's living a life full of lies. I think compared to a 12-year-old child wandering the streets alone, a life like this is better. That's the reason why I accepted this marriage. Did the Duke teach you to say these words to seduce me? If what you say is true, then does it change anything? What do you mean? Even if I were seducing you, it wouldn't be good at all if you fell for me. I've read the original novel. The great families were founded by 4 families. The tempestuous Reuben Lynn, who control the wind. The blazing Kairas, who control fire. The resounding Esther, who control the earth. The living Serioses, who control water. When the empire was first established, the heads of the 4 families sat down together to decide who would be emperor. Among them, both the Kairas family and the Reuben Lynn family planned to become emperor. After a long discussion, the Kairas family ascended the throne thanks to an eternal vow. The Kairas royal family must not forget the people of the empire, and the ducal Reuben Lynn family will always restrain the royal family to prevent them from abusing their power. However, the vow made on the basis of morality and justice gradually faded over time. In the end, the Kairas family coveted the power of the Reuben Lynn family to become stronger. The form of that greed was a family union. Elisa said, the royal family is targeting Reuben Lynn's power, so they want the princess and this young duke to marry. To prevent that, the duke bought me and had me marry you, unless you want to marry the princess. Otherwise, you'll have to stay by my side. Richard was swayed upon hearing this. I thought she was an idiot, but it turns out she's not so bad. What I want from you is not an heir or the title of duchess. Let's be married until I come of age. I will leave the mansion immediately after I come of age. I will accept your request, but I expect you to keep your promise to leave when you come of age. And so, the two of them slept in the same bed. Until the next morning, in his sleepy days, Richard thought to himself, what's this warm thing behind my back? This blanket is so soft, too. At that moment, as if discovering something, Richard's eyes flew open and his body went stiff. As the blanket he was thinking of was actually Elisa. She was lying behind him, hugging him tightly. Richard blushed beet red in embarrassment. Huh, what is this? She only said she would hold my hand. Why is she hugging me now? Just how many times did she roll over? The pillow is lying on the floor. Did she even push me? Suddenly, Elisa curled up and shivered, mumbling, so cold, so cold. Richard couldn't bear it and pulled the blanket over her. Immediately warmed, Elisa's expression relaxed completely. Seeing her like that, Richard sighed and said, "So troublesome." After waking up, Elisa grumbled, "He's so rude. He just ignored me and walked straight past, not even a single hello." Well, whatever. I'll just stay cooped up in my room and read today. A while later, while she was reading, the sound of a maid cleaning caught Elisa's attention. Why does she have to do these things? If she's not careful, she could very well fall. Her name is in, I think. A child's job isn't to clean rooms, is it? A few days ago, she was in charge of cleaning up a pile of trash in the bedroom, and now she's doing everything. After that, she was looked down upon because she was too young. How could they bully a child like that? I'll make them pay a heavy price. Waiting until it got down from the chair safely, Elisa asked, why aren't you cleaning the room today?" "Why, yes. I'm asking you why you're not doing the cleaning work today. Your job is to clean the bedroom, right?" The little girl answered tremblingly, "Yes, I was assigned to do this work today, doing the laundry and dusting at the same time." "Yes, ma'am. Why did you take on all the work? If I remember correctly, laundry is Lai's job, and dusting is Julia's, isn't it?" And stammered. "A few days ago, they told me to help them for a day. I couldn't refuse. So, it seems they were scolded a lot by the head maid because of me. I felt guilty, so I took on their work. But what will happen if they get scolded again in the future because of me?" Elisa thought angrily. Pushing responsibility onto each other? Those two make someone else do their work just because they were scolded. Will they continue to do that in the future? No, they might have lied about being scolded by the head maid. You don't need to do their work anymore. "Have you eaten yet?" "Not yet, ma'am." "Really? Then sit here and eat this cake." "Yes, ma'am." "Should I handle this matter?" Right after that, Elisa went to find Duke and Berulin. "It's a pleasure to see you, Your Grace. I haven't come for anything much. I came here to ask you for a favor." "Ask me for a favor. Can I change my maid?" "How do you want to change the maid?" "I need someone who knows how to arrange the bedroom, handle meals, do laundry, and clean. Could you please replace my maid with one who is capable of doing all those jobs? My maid only knows how to clean the bedroom." And Berulin replied, "It's very normal for each job to have a person in charge. But today, I saw one maid doing everything. So she worked very slowly, and it wasn't very clean." And Berulin understood the implication and ordered, "Aaron, go and find out what happened." "Yes, Your Grace. We can't let the young Duchess feel inconvenienced. I will handle this. You may be dismissed." "Thank you, Your Grace. The Duke wants me by his side, although he could abandon me at any time. But he won't do that, not without a specific plan. That's why this Duke doesn't want to make things difficult for me. I will make good use of this position." The maids were summoned to the main hall that very day. They were expelled from the Duke's territory. The reason for their expulsion was for failing to complete their assigned tasks, as well as slacking off during work hours multiple times. This led the Duke to believe that the members of the Rublin family were being disrespected. If they were kicked out of the house without a letter of recommendation, finding a job in another house would be very difficult, if not to say impossible. "Please don't kick us out. Why didn't they just work hard and be decent from the start?" And from then on, whenever I wanted to request something, I would go and ask Duke and Berulin. He granted all of my requests, as they weren't a very big deal, even letting me take finance classes. Initially, he didn't allow me to take that class. I want to take this opportunity to study finance, to get closer to Richard. With a few tricks, I succeeded in persuading the Duke. Because the ducal family has a lot of money, Duke and Berulin didn't care how much I spent. So I took advantage of this time to plan for my future divorce. I will try out all my business ideas while I'm still a member of the ducal family. Studying finance will be very helpful for my future business. I must study hard to have a stable life after marriage. On the first day of class, Richard asked as soon as he saw me, "Why are you here?" "Hey, I'm your wife in name. After all, I should know a little about finance, too. Besides, me studying economics will be a great help to you in the future." Haha, how amusing to hear that. The conversation was immediately interrupted when the teacher arrived. "Are all the students here?" "Hello, teacher. I'll be starting my economic studies today. I look forward to your guidance. I've heard from the Duke about your eagerness to learn. It is a great honor for me to teach such a studious student. Let's begin the class. We will review the basics." "Well then, Elisa, can you represent the numbers 326, 15, and 739 on the abacus?" "Yes." Richard watched intently as Elisa followed the teacher's request, seeing her fumble with the abacus. Richard couldn't help but point to guide her. 15 is done like this. 326 is like this. 729 like this. The teacher clapped his hands. Young Duke, you are so skilled. You've done it correctly. After the teacher's praise, Elisa immediately turned to thank Richard. Thank you, you cold boy. After speaking, Elisa flashed a bright smile at Richard. For a moment, it made him stare blankly. Just then, Elisa reminded him, hey, your hand. Hearing that, Richard was startled and pulled his hand back. Embarrassed, he turned away. Focus on the lecture. Richard thought to himself. I wasn't helping her, I was just studying. Although she's not a very fast learner, once she gets the hang of it, she will surely be very good at it. Perhaps she could be of some help to my future work. At the end of class, Elisa called out to Richard. What is it? I'm planning to tour the territory when class is over. Will you come along? Do you want to come along? I'm busy. Wow, he doesn't even pretend to care. Just then an also arrived. It is an honor to meet you, young Duke. And is here. Well then, we'll be going. Thank you. Oh, I'll buy some cookies for you. That's what kids like, right? Before Richard's question, Elisa thought, what was that? If I say I like cookies, he'll think I'm a child. This selfish bastard. I thought we could be good to each other, even though he's not kind at all, since we're in the same boat. Was I wrong about him? Oh, is that so? Then I'll buy them and eat them right in front of you. And I won't give you any. Suit yourself. Let's go in. Yes, ma'am. Afterwards, Richard returned and flopped onto a chair to read a book. After a while, Richard glanced out the window and thought, it's going to rain soon. When spring comes, the monsters become very active. If they go to the territory this time, they will surely face monsters instead of bandits. Monsters rarely come to the residential areas. But, thinking this, Richard closed his book and sighed. Then he grabbed his overcoat and said, what a pain. Richard jumped out the window, thinking, if Elisa gets hurt, that old man will kick me out of the house. And then bring in another vicious girl, I guess. In that case, Elisa is much better. At this time, Elisa was chatting cheerfully. It would be so great if the road to the north gate were repaired quickly. The road to the west gate is too long and bumpy. It's so hard on you, my lady. Not at all. It's not hard at all. You know I'm traveling by carriage, right? Even so, if you sit in a carriage for too long, you'll still get tired, won't you? I'm really fine. After we get to the city, we'll eat the cookies I bought. Elisa looked at the cookie box and thought, the men of the Rublin family don't eat sweets. Not even sweets brought by the servants or bought from a shop. I plan to open a bakery after I get divorced. I was shocked to hear that there were no ingredients at all. Well, I bought a bunch of ingredients after that, so it should be fine. If it's not enough, I'll go out on a nice day and buy more. Suddenly, the carriage shook violently. Are you all right, my lady? Ouch, I'm fine. Outside, the soldiers were shouting. Monsters! The monsters are coming. What? Monsters? My lady, please lie low on the floor. Do not leave the carriage until the Rublin knights have dealt with all the monsters. Did monsters really appear? And asked fearfully. We'll be all right, won't we? Elisa, trembling herself, tried to reassure her. It's no problem. Just wait a little longer. The knights will eliminate them all. Just as she finished speaking, the carriage was tossed by the monsters. Elisa muttered in pain. What was that? Immediately after, Elisa's face turned pale as she saw the monster's face. My lady, that's a monster. It has caught the carriage. Elisa thought to herself, what happened to the knights? And the servants? Could it be that all of them? The monster kept ramming the carriage, roaring. This can't be at this rate. Elisa hugged him tightly, thinking, I don't want to die like this. Just then, a hand appeared and began to attack that monster. It was immediately thrown aside by Richard. You filthy monster. Daring to attack the carriage? The beastly monster stood up and fixed its eyes on Richard, roaring. From its tail, it sprayed a stream of green poison. Richard quickly dodged to one side. Are you asking me to kill you? Then I will grant your request. Richard raised his hand and brought it down in one strike. The monster let out a loud shriek and sizzled. It lay twitching in front of Richard. As expected, it died from a single bolt of lightning. At that moment, Elisa's voice called out, Richard. Richard turned to see Elisa standing in the wrecked carriage, waving. Richard, help us get out of the carriage. All right. As soon as she was out of the carriage, Elisa asked with concern, and are you okay? Yes, my lady. I'm not hurt. Richard saw this and thought, is she too naive or just stupid? She must be terrified and worried. Yet she's taking care of her maid instead of herself. Can't she see the wound on her arm? I think it will heal in a few days. Richard, what is it? Thank you for saving us today. I'll repay you later. Richard acted up again. How can a kid who likes cookies repay anyone? What? You're being like that again. Although at that moment, Richard was thinking to himself, it was the right decision to come here. A few days later, Elisa was being showered with praise by the maids. "Oh my goodness, how can you be this beautiful? You'll surely look like a doll princess. If Richard sees you, he'll fall in love with you instantly." Wow, this time the maids have put their all into it. That's right, today is an important day. We have no other choice. No noble lady can surpass your beauty. That's right, there's only one angel in this world, and that is you, my lady. The young master has just called for you to come downstairs. All right, hurry now, let's go downstairs. Elisa sulkily walked downstairs towards Richard. As for Richard, the moment he saw Elisa, his face went blank as he thought, "Oh my God, she already had a beautiful face, but now she's even more beautiful." Seeing Elisa approaching, he hurriedly turned his face away. Elisa saw this and thought, "What is this? He looks at me and then pretends not to know me. What is he sulking about?" And whispered, "The young master must be astonished by your beauty right now. Isn't it obvious? I am here, your grace. Not bad. You are standing here as a Rublin. You must behave wisely so as not to bring shame upon the family. That's right. There aren't many young ladies who could replace you." Elisa was filled with determination in her heart. "I prepared for this before coming to the ducal residence. Then let's go." And on the day the monster attacked, the emperor's invitation had been delivered. His purpose was clear. Which child has taken the position that the princess was supposed to receive? Just to make sure there was no deception aimed at avoiding the royal marriage. Furthermore, to make sure the target could be easily eliminated. Even if we didn't accept the invitation, the emperor wouldn't retaliate, but avoiding it is something the Rublin family does not permit. So 4 days later, Richard and I moved to the island with Duke Newber. After arriving, if the problem cannot be eliminated within 2 weeks, we must prepare for the emperor's invitation. I don't want this forced trip to be a second time. When I opened my eyes, I saw Richard staring at me. Elisa thought, "Why does he keep looking at me like that?" The maids were right. "I look extremely beautiful today, don't I?" Elisa then played along. "Why are you staring at me like that? Is there something on my face?" "It's just as you said." Richard reached out and picked a thread from Elisa's head. Elisa immediately froze. "What? For real?" "So there was a thread on my hair." Thanks. You're welcome. This is so embarrassing. Let's change the subject. By the way, Richard, what are the crown prince and the princess like?" Richard answered succinctly, "Trash. Trash? A pile of non-recyclable trash." He always makes harsh comments about others, but this time it seems really severe. What is he basing that on? "My lady, young master, we have arrived at the royal hunting grounds. Please get ready and let's go." All right. Richard gently helped Elisa down from the carriage. As soon as Elisa stepped down from the carriage, she had to exclaim, "Good heavens, look at all those faces." Many pairs of eyes were scrutinizing Elisa. "A pleasure to meet you, your grace. Next to you is..." A young lady spoke up. "Oh, all the high-ranking nobles have gathered in one place." High-ranking nobles? A carriage with the royal seal and red hair. People from the Tyrant royal family. They all bowed in unison. "Greetings to the brilliant flame of Arankia. It is a joy to see everyone on this warm spring day. After this cold winter, it's a joy that everyone is safe. Duke Rublin, is that child the next duchess of your house?" "Yes, Elisa of Rublin. It's a pleasure to meet you." "Oh, I thought you were a country girl, since you're the daughter of Len Green, after all. But you are quite beautiful and look like a noble. It seems I underestimated you." "Michaela, a kind child like you will be willing to help this child. With life on the island, right?" "Yes, mother." Elisa thought to herself, even a hedgehog holds its quills tightly. They must have a very strong bond. The crown prince said enthusiastically, "The hunting festival will be held after lunch is over, so I invite everyone to move along. The noble children, follow me." "Yes, your highness." At this moment, a white-haired boy was becoming a target of attack. "Hey, that guy, he didn't come out because he was sick, but this time he's appeared. Today we'll get to see an interesting sight. That boy's name is Urs." He looked timid and was trembling. Everyone was now moving to the banquet. As Elisa moved, she thought, "Phew, I'm already tired," even though the competition hasn't even started yet. "Hey, why aren't they sitting down?" Elisa saw the crown prince with his arm around Urs, saying, "Urs, what took you so long? Do you know how much I missed you? I thought you missed me too, so I'll let you sit opposite me. Come on, sit down." On the left is Count Latet, and on the other side is... Elisa saw the crown prince's actions and thought, "What is this? He's openly discriminating against everyone and arbitrarily arranging seats according to his preference." Remembering Richard's earlier comment, "Trash." So he was completely right. At that moment, the crown prince pointed toward Elisa and said, "And next to Urs is the daughter of Lorne Green." "Oh no, the future Duchess. It's great that you're sitting here. I don't know much about you yet." An idea popped into Elisa's head. I'll switch seats and see what he plans to do. I really want to run over and muda his face a few times, but that wouldn't be a wise move, so for Rubelin's sake, I'll endure it. Richard, no, why is he sitting next to me? The Crown Prince said, annoyed. Young Duke Rubelin, you were supposed to sit next to me. Why are you over there? Richard replied bluntly, my wife is sitting here. Isn't it natural for this to be my seat? Are you taking my side now? Since my wife is here, I have the right to sit in this spot. Hey, is your hand numb? You're acting like a child. Fine, just sit there. Everyone was already assigned a seat. Immediately, everyone sat in their designated seats. Let's start the meal. Oh, one more thing. Before we start the meal, we should offer someone a drink. Huh? The Crown Prince walked over to Urs and said, right? Why did he fill the glass with so much grape juice? Urs was bewildered because right after, the Crown Prince poured the entire glass of juice over Urs's head. Oh dear, I meant to offer you the first drink, but I was a bit careless. Sorry about that. Is that enough? Haha, but it seems purple hair suits you better. After this, you should go dye your hair with grape juice. The others also joined in, laughing ha ha. That's right, Princess, the Crown Prince is so clever. Ha ha ha, so funny. It'll be fine if he dyes his hair. Ha ha ha. Have all these people lost their minds? Making fun of someone, and everyone else is joining in with him. Elisa took out a handkerchief and wiped it for Urs. This will help. No, it's all right. The Crown Prince and Michaela turned purple with rage when Elisa didn't join in with them. The Duchess is so kind. You're taking good care of my friend. He continued, picking up a full glass of juice and turning toward Elisa. We must raise a glass to your kindness, my lady. That's all right, isn't it? Just by looking, it was clear what the Crown Prince's intention was. Suddenly, a gale-force wind swept in. Everything became chaotic and messy because the wind was too strong. As soon as the wind stopped, the Crown Prince's jaw dropped as the entire glass of water had spilled on him. Michaela cried out, brother. He trembled with anger and cursed. Damn it. He held the glass, pointed at Richard, and yelled, it was you, wasn't it? Your Highness, please go change your formal attire first. Let go of me, you damn dog. You should go change first. I'll definitely make you pay for this. Let's go, brother. Elisa widened her eyes and thought, why is he still so unruly? You should just shut his mouth. Suddenly, Richard stood up and left. Elisa called after him. Richard, that. Elisa was about to run after him when Urs stood up and said, thank you. It's not necessary. It's nothing. Then Elisa sprinted, calling after Richard. Richard, thank you for your help. You are a member of the Rubelin family. So that's the reason. I know, but you still help me anyway. Thank you, my dear husband. If Elisa keeps smiling so brightly like this, won't poor Richard just die? After freezing for a moment at the words, dear husband, Richard quickly turned and walked away. Elisa watched and wondered, what's wrong with him? I thanked him properly. Does that mean he really didn't want to help me? But little did she know, someone's face had already turned as red as a tomato because of her. It can't be wiped clean. I couldn't avoid getting splashed. This dress is so beautiful, but I can't stand it. That's right. If it weren't for that incident, you would be enjoying your time with the other young ladies now. Cha! Actually, I used the excuse of wanting grape juice to disappear from the tea party. She shouldn't have brought up that painful incident. Cha! We shouldn't have any regrets. Anyway, we'll still have many other opportunities to enjoy tea parties. Yes. At that moment, someone spoke from nearby. Pay attention. What's that sound? My lady. Elisa pulled down the cleaning cloth to hide. Don't make a sound. Just do as I say. Got it? Those people, I don't know which faction they're from. Why did they sneak into the royal hunting grounds? One of them said, remember my words. Our target is the young Duke of the Rubelin house. What? Richard is in danger. I have to go back and call the knights for help. Wait, hold on. What if those suspicious men were sent by the Emperor? I shouldn't be certain about anything. The only ones who can help Richard right now are the Rubelin knights. My lady, they're gone. What should we do now? Elisa bolted and said, run, back. My lady, please wait for me. We have to find Richard quickly. Seeing two Rubelin knights, Elisa called out loudly, Sir Duncan, Sir Ratwa. What's the matter, young Duchess? The young Duke is in danger. He needs help. Go back to the forest, find the young Duke, and escort him. At this, the two knights scoffed and replied, the royal forest is protected by the best knights of the Empire. What are you thinking? What if it's true? And what if something really is wrong with the young Duke? If that happens, do you think the Duke will forgive you too? Because you cannot be loyal to me, there is no reason for you to listen to my words. But you have repeated the blood oath to the house of Rubelin, remember that. After saying that, Elisa mounted a horse and rode off. Elisa rode like a whirlwind. I returned to the forest on horseback, but where am I supposed to find Richard in this vast forest? At the end of the original novel, Richard survived and fathered highs. But things might change after my reincarnation. But no matter what happens, I have to find and protect him as soon as possible. The deeper she rode, the more Elisa could feel the power of the wind. Wait, this wind belongs to Richard, but it seems stronger than usual. Did something really happen to Richard? At that moment, the Rublin Knights also caught up. Duchess, Elisa raised her hand and pointed forward. This way. Yes, I understand. Elisa prayed silently. Please be safe. Just then, Richard's whirlwind appeared up ahead, and next to it were assassins holding swords. Right after, Richard used his power, easily lifting them high up, and then with a light flick, they all fell thud-thud to the ground and went to reunite with their ancestors. After clearing out the assassins, Richard looked pale. Seeing this, Elisa ran like the wind and called out, "Richard, are you okay? Are you hurt anywhere?" Richard started to tremble with a wound on his body. He was wounded in the abdomen. Then suddenly, Richard collapsed onto Elisa. Elisa supported Richard to the ground and called out loudly, Richard, Richard." The hunting festival was canceled immediately after this incident occurred. However, the area where Richard was attacked was near the royal forest. As a result, the Duke stood before a large number of nobles at the royal hunting grounds and demanded the emperor investigate the failed assassination attempt. The emperor was not pleased with this request, but still had to order an investigation to avoid suspicion from the aristocracy. In the end, he delegated the case to the Duke. As this urgent situation was nearing resolution, Richard was allowed to return to the ducal residence to recuperate. Fortunately, the wound was not very deep. The royal family was the one behind this incident. But does the Duke have any suspicions? He only glanced briefly at Richard's condition at the hunting grounds. At this moment, Andy came in looking worried and asked, "My lady, what is it? What's wrong with you? You look a bit pale." I have something I need to tell you." "What is it?" "As I was walking down the hallway to get here, I happened to see someone. It was the culprit I saw that day, so I secretly followed him. I saw him secretly go to the Duke's office, and I overheard that. The Duke is the one behind all of this." "What?" Elisa immediately thought, "There's no reason to do that in the royal forest." So he used Richard to show everyone that House Rublin is still very strong. Lately, the nobles have been constantly visiting the Duke. I just thought they came here to express their sympathy. How could he harm his own grandson like that? Well, if you overhear anything, let me know, all right? Yes, you seem tired. Go get some rest. Yes, my lady. If Richard knew this truth, he would probably pack his bags and leave the ducal house. If that happens, my being here would also be meaningless. But for conscience's sake, I can't pretend not to care about his pain. When he wakes up, I will tell him everything. Just then, Richard opened his eyes, and Elisa said cheerfully, "Are you feeling better? Why don't you go to sleep?" "Why?" "Because my husband is unwell, so I have to take care of him, of course." "Are you going to say thank you?" "I don't need it, so go to sleep." "Richard, before I leave here, I need to tell you this." "Say it." "The person who harmed you is your grandfather. I went there and saw the person believed to have attacked you." Richard replied without any surprise, "All right, I knew it even if you didn't tell me." "Huh? What do you mean?" Richard said that I am an illegitimate child with the blood of a commoner. When my father was alive, he hired people to kill my father, because I'm ashamed of House Rublin. However, after my father passed away, he came and made me the heir. Even though I only have half the bloodline, I am still enough to inherit this family's legacy. So here I am. I will destroy this family with my own hands. Elisa smiled and thought, I thought he was difficult because he was in his rebellious phase, but it seems he is still having a hard time even now. However, in the original novel, Elisa was forced to marry Richard, so he kept hating this. Elisa suddenly took Richard's hand. "What are you doing?" Elisa placed her hand on her chest and said, "I will always be by your side. At least for now, I will always be by your side. So please take care of me." Richard stared blankly for a moment, then replied, "All right, that's why we should think about it more, right? Rainer, what would you do with a pawn that could become a queen in the future? Of course, you must eliminate it. But if there is no justification and you cannot eliminate it, then just make one, right? Create it. Use the brother's oath, your majesty. The brother's promise is a promise between the four families who contributed to the founding of the empire. If the three families rebel for just reasons, the royal family cannot deal with them. And if the royal family asks for help, the three families are forced to protect the royal family at any cost. Even if you can't kill her using the oath, you can at least lead her to her death. And I have a way to help you make the most of that oath. Returning to the Rublin family, Elisa was studying diligently. 569 minus 192 equals 367. Slide the beads one more time. Oh, so it's 377? What a pity, I thought I got it right this time. You're getting better and better. Keep it up. At this moment, a servant came in to announce, "My lady, Viscount Arend and his son are here." What are they here for? They came to thank you for what happened last time. Elisa was still dazed, not remembering when Richard reminded her. Ansel Arend, grape juice. Ah, so it was him? Then let me help you get dressed, my lady. All right. Suddenly, Richard suggested, "Hey, let's go together. You're planning to go with me while you're sick? You should rest. I'll take care of the guests." Richard started smelling of vinegar. Why is she getting dressed up to meet him? If she's on my side, she should only be taking care of me. If they want to say thanks, they could just send a gift or something. Why did that bastard have to come all the way to the house to say thanks? And why is she dressing up so nicely? Ansel handed over a handkerchief and said, "I intended to come here to return your handkerchief, my lady, but it was stained by the grape juice, so I couldn't get it clean. So I had to prepare a new handkerchief to give back to you, my lady." "Ah, thank you very much. It's all right. I have plenty of handkerchiefs." "So that's the reason you came here to thank me? Only bad people sit together. By the way, you could just speak to me normally." Ansel blushed and stammered, "Oh no. All right. Thank you very much. I'll carry it with me, because I like luxurious and splendid things. I mean, I like it. You don't need to worry." Elisa thought to herself, to prepare for the divorce, I need to build many relationships. Richard finally couldn't stand it anymore and appeared. "What's so cheerful? Huh? It's rude to just lie flat in bed when a guest has arrived. Looks like the vinegar jar has exploded, folks." Ansel said, "Aye, that day, thank you for your help." Richard asserted his dominance and said, "It's very normal for a husband to help his wife, so there's no reason for you to thank my wife. But I still need to thank the lady. If it weren't for her, I probably wouldn't have escaped that situation." Elisa glanced at Richard and thought, what's he talking about? If he keeps acting like this. Suddenly, Richard put a hand to his head and said, "I feel so dizzy." "What? Are you okay? That's why I told you to rest." Elisa hurriedly led Richard back to his room and said, "Ansel, I'm sorry, but I have to take him back to his room. He hasn't fully recovered yet. I'm sorry for leaving so suddenly. Please feel free to stay and relax here." Look at the way Richard is glaring at the guest. Ansel thought, I think he can walk on his own. Oh, wait a moment. Huh, there will be a party held at my residence in a few days. I hope you will attend, my lady. Oh, you're inviting me? Thank you. I will attend. I look forward to your presence at the party. Someone's eating their own words after avoiding people at first. Haha. The vinegar is too sour. That night, Richard, you haven't taken your medicine, have you? You need to take your medicine to get better faster. I'll be fine even without taking medicine. Since you're being a good husband, please drink it. You're planning to attend that party. That's right. I'll go to that party. The Duke also seems to want me to go. You did very well helping Arend. Viscount Arend's territory trades with the Eastern continent. Even things that are extremely hard to find can be acquired by him very easily. So it would be very good for you to build a friendship with him. Elisa thought to herself, although it's not good to make friends just for benefits, establishing a relationship with Ansel isn't bad. It would be extremely good to have a few good relationships to enjoy after the divorce. Richard looked at Elisa for a while, then said, "Don't get too close to him." "What? Richard, do you hate that relationship that much? What? Did Ansel do something wrong? Or do you think it's his fault for causing trouble with the crown prince?" "Arrogant man. What do you mean, arrogant man? It's not for those reasons. I'm reacting like this only because you said you would stay by my side." Elisa's face lit up as she asked again, "By your side?" Embarrassed, Richard quickly burrowed into the blanket. "Forget it. I'm going to sleep. Sleep well and have sweet dreams." Waiting until Elisa was fast asleep, Richard finally gathered the courage to playfully poke Elisa's cheek with his hand. "If you say you'll be by my side, you should only care about me." On the day of the party, Elisa looked at Richard and thought, I thought he wouldn't come, and yet he's already dressed up like this. Of course, he's acting like this because he's shy. It's so cute. Even more surprisingly, when they arrived, Richard proactively offered his hand to help Elisa off the horse. While Elisa was still surprised, Richard asked, "Your hand?" Elisa also held out her hand and thought. Since that moment, he started to care about me more. There's a bit of clumsiness here, but I feel very safe and warm. This party had many attendees. Welcome, Duke Rublin. Your presence is a pleasure for us. Happy birthday, Viscount. The other people were also curious about Elisa. Look, the Duke's granddaughter-in-law. She's so cute. She looks so good with the young Duke. That's right, the Duke must be very happy to have such a splendid grandson and granddaughter-in-law. Thank you, everyone. Elisa was also surprised and thought to herself, it's not like the greetings at the hunting grounds, is it? Why have everyone's faces changed so quickly? They all witnessed Richard's power, yet they still bow their heads? I don't feel happy at all seeing these faces. Viscount Arend raised his hand and said, thank you all for taking the time to attend this party. Without making everyone wait any longer, the party will now begin. These are the things that I have prepared for everyone. I hope that everyone will have a wonderful time. Elisa silently exclaimed, wow, is this what a real party is like? Just then, a servant came and said, I will take you two to the private building. The tea party for children is usually held separately from the tea party for adults. Even if they study and learn to behave like nobles, in the end, they will still run around at a tea party because they are still children. Although Richard and I are separated, organizing it this way is still better. The reaction of everyone upon seeing Elisa and Richard enter. They asked in unison, where is His Highness the Crown Prince? And then their faces immediately fell when it wasn't the desired arrival. Elisa immediately realized, it seems Richard and I are not welcome here. Those children were all people who had submitted to Tristan's orders and were forced to smile even when it wasn't fun at all. To them, His Highness the Crown Prince was an absolute ideology, and they would reject anyone not loyal to the Crown Prince. Whatever, I don't give a damn. Only Ansel was happy to see Elisa. Elisa, you're here? Thank you for inviting me. Ansel, and the young Duke too. It sounds like you're very busy, aren't you? Not at all. I was just saying a few greetings. Hello. We're fine. Go on and greet your guests. Richard, come here, there's so many kinds of pastries. Richard said in a disdainful tone, they're all sweet. Sweets aren't good for. He was immediately stuffed with a pastry by Elisa. My husband is too talkative today. The cookie I gave you was delicious, wasn't it? I knew it. After a while, Elisa's face twisted into a grimace. Because she was wearing high heels, her feet were hurt. She thought to herself, I shouldn't have worn these shoes. Recalling that moment, this is the young lady's first time attending a party. Please wear something suitable for you. And then the other servants had prepared another pair of shoes for me, but because it was too hot, I chose this pair. I need to find a place to rest first. Just as Elisa turned away, Richard asked, where are you going? Shoo, it's rude to ask a lady so bluntly. I'll be back soon. Finding a chair, Elisa sat down and immediately felt comfortable. Sitting in this spot, Elisa overheard whispers. Why didn't the prince show up? I asked my father, but he just said the prince suddenly fell ill a few days ago. Tristan is sick. That guy specializes in bullying people. Could this illness be fake too? How shameful. Was he shocked by that bastard? Isn't this Richard's fault for causing the conflict? Have you all heard that his mother was a prostitute? I also heard that Richard used to be a street gang leader. That's right, he was in a street gang. That a gathering place for uneducated thugs. They only have brute strength. I think so too. He's arrogant and unsociable. Elisa trembled hearing these things. These bastards. It's a disgrace to let that guy be a noble. Elisa couldn't take it anymore and stood up to walk over. They paused for a moment, then turned and said, is this that guy's wife? Hey, what's life like living with such a terrible husband? Elisa answered decisively. It's wonderful. What? Didn't you ask how it feels to live there? It's wonderful. More pleasant than this vile conversation. What? Vile. I knew it when I met you at the hunting grounds. How insolent. Elisa looked and thought to herself, this silver hair and arrogant personality. This must be Tristan's wife, the one who will later become the male lead stepmother. Someone reminded them, hey, Rose is the prince's fiancée. Watch your mouth. So what? So you think you're very polite? Right now, I am the wife of the young Duke of House Rublin, while you are still just the young daughter of House Furless, aren't you? So who is the one acting rudely here? Lady Rose Furless. Rose Furless trembled with anger at being spoken to like that by Elisa. The others tried to stop them. She's just the wife of that savage bastard. Elisa didn't back down and retorted, you all are just bastards, experts at bad-mouthing others behind their backs. Just then, Richard's voice made her shudder. I was wondering why you hadn't returned. Turns out, it's because of these insects. Richard glared, thinking, did she just get trapped by them? Seeing Elisa's hand trembling, Richard immediately came closer to support her and said, Ignore those bugs. Let's go. It's true. There's no problem calling them insects. If you encounter things like this in the future, just ignore them. I don't like it. A single drop of water is nothing to a large stone. However, if the drops of water gather into a great wave, even the sturdiest stone will be destroyed. Isn't the human heart the same? Those things provoked me, because I said I would always support you. Therefore, you must always stay by my side. Those who speak ill of us will all have to pay the price. Richard was stunned by Elisa's concern. He then thought, is this the feeling of having someone care about me? Although she's a bit cringy at times, just a little, she always protects me, stays by my side, and is only for me? Suddenly, Richard knelt down and said, get on. It seems your foot is injured. Huh, I can tell from your unstable posture. All right, put your arms around my neck. It's your fault if you fall. Even so, he's still taking care of me. Being carried like this is actually nice. No, compared to my imagination, it's really warm, and I like it. After the party, peace had returned. Let's go to the library and then out to the garden to see the flowers within. As she passed by a window, Elisa was drawn by the sound from below. Swing the sword harder. Yes, sir. What's going on? Elisa drooled, looking at the muscles of the young knights. Oh my God, oh my God. Look at those muscles. Handsome, shirtless men. Are the knights training outdoors? It's just practice. So why are they shirtless? I guess it's because it's too hot, so they threw off their shirts. Hee hee. As she was glued to those rippling muscles, Richard's voice asked from behind, what are you looking at? Elisa, feeling guilty, was startled. Richard asked again, why were you startled? Elisa tried to cover it up. The sword practice looked so fascinating, so I stopped to watch. I want to learn it too. You want to learn it? Oh no, I was just saying. I can teach you. I'm a sword master. You're good with a sword too? I thought you were only good at magic. Amazing. You're the best. Huh, what are you thinking? Do you think a sorcerer can't become a swordsman? Ah, I see. I have to go. Goodbye. Elisa, I need to make a run for it before I'm forced to learn the sword. Richard glanced out the window and muttered, very well. This person is Thon's son. He has been in the Rubella Knight Order for a year. And now he was sweating as Richard suddenly wanted to duel him. Thon's son wondered, I didn't offend the young master, so why does he want to duel me? Thon's son recalled, tomorrow afternoon, you and I will duel. Young Master Richard, I just trained yesterday. The young master waited in front of my room for an hour just to duel me. Why would the young master do that? Well then, young Master Richard, when shall we begin the duel? Richard looked up at the window and said, wait a moment. Only when Elisa passed by and glanced down did Richard agree to start. All right, let's begin. Yes, I understand. If one of us is disarmed, that person loses. Thon's son thought to himself, nobles usually have very big egos, so it's difficult to confront them. If I win, I'll definitely be kicked out of here, so I'm forced to lose. Besides, my opponent is weaker than me anyway. Yes, sir, let's begin. Thon's son's perspective immediately changed as soon as the match started. Richard was very serious, and his movements were very fast. He's too fast. He's so fast I can't dodge his attacks. Richard looked straight at Thon's son and said, if this were a real battle, clang, Thon's son's sword was knocked away. Your head would have left your body. If you still haven't shown your full skill, you can ask me for a rematch. No, sir, that is the extent of my skills. But why did the young master suddenly request a duel? It's nothing. I just wanted to see the skill of a knight. I see. When Richard looked up at the window, all his effort to show off was for naught. Elisa hadn't stopped to see his performance. Who will cry for this pain? Ha! At this moment, Elisa was leisurely lying sprawled on the bed, looking at a map. I have a map now, so I can learn about the surrounding places. Let's find a place to live after the divorce. However, there's still things related to the prince being sick. If it's not like the original story, he definitely won't die. He was very competitive with his son, Leo, who would later become the emperor. While Leo had to wander the streets in pain, he still ate well and lived well. How annoying. He's definitely an idiot, isn't he? His stomach hurts more and more because of the influence of the Rublin family. At this moment, Richard returned with a gloomy and disappointed look on his face. Richard, you're done bathing? Let me dry your hair. No need. Did you see anything today? I just read books in the library. And I also looked at the map. Ah, that's right. I also saw you sparring. Really? Of course. Is your wound okay? Has it fully recovered? Is it difficult to move? Also, were you injured anywhere else? Let me see. As she spoke, Elisa pulled Richard's shirt to look. Richard said shyly, I'm better now, but you might overexert yourself. Okay, all right, then let's go to sleep. No, finish what you were doing. Let's look at the map together. Is this the Rublin territory? That's right, but most of it is unusable territory. The land in the northwest is contaminated, so there are many demonic beasts there. Why do you say it in such a dry way? And this is the Acaro Empire. Is that so? What's life like there? It's a very suitable place to live. It has a large river flowing through a plain, so the land is very fertile, and there's also a sea route. But why are you asking? Don't I need a place to live after leaving the ducal residence? We already made an agreement. When I come of age, we will get a divorce. That's right, we made an agreement. Why did I agree to something so foolish? Richard asked sorrowfully as he stared intently at the map. So where do you want to live? In Sorrenti. That place is very nice, neither hot nor cold. Richard was sorrowful. It seems that place is very close to Viscount Aaron's residence. My goodness, with every coming spring, 100 flowers bloom in rivalry, and it seems the peaceful days will continue. However, when spring ends, the flowers also begin to wilt. The days of peace also end here. Anselm Rublin was kicking the table in anger upon receiving the emperor's order. What? An oath? Huh. Are you trying to suck the blood of House Rublin? The emperor's decree was issued under the pretext of the oath between the four families. The war against the kingdom of Rien on the western border. In the event of war, as is the duty of the royal family, the prince is to be the one to rise up and lead the army. However, Tristan is a patient lying on a hospital sickbed. So the emperor invoked the oath and sent Richard, the young Duke of Rublin, to the battlefield in the prince's place. Elisa was also stunned when she heard this news. War? Richard has to go to the battlefield? Does Richard think House Rublin will just let it be? It's possible. According to the original novel, Richard won't die. But what if it's like that day again? Besides me, he has no one by his side. Can he endure that? Probably not. Richard is very strong. Just then, Richard also arrived and called out, Elisa, you were called here too? As soon as she saw Richard, Elisa couldn't stop her tears from falling. Richard broke out in a sweat, seeing Elisa cry. What? Why are you crying? He's not allowed to die. He's not allowed to have any injuries. And then he'll be fine. Elisa ran towards Richard and hugged him. It was so awkward that they both fell to the ground with a thud. Hey, Elisa. Elisa hugged Richard and sobbed. There, don't cry anymore. Richard, I don't want you to go to war. A moment later, Anselm Rublin made a demand. You two must, by any means, give me an heir tonight. Richard protested. No, your job right now is to produce an heir. Do what you can in that position. If that's the case, then I refuse this position. He screamed. Then go and die. The emperor will swallow House Rublin whole. Everything is just a puppet in the emperor's hands. These hands of mine have shed so much blood to protect this family. That path was never a path to be walked, never. Richard scoffed and thought, is the fall of this family scarier than his own grandson's death? I will not die. Even if I'm on the brink of death, I will find a way to survive. I will never let House Rublin fall like this, because House Rublin must fall by my hands. So this time, just as Richard was about to speak, Elisa cut in. I will do as you have said. Richard heard this and turned to look at Elisa in alarm. After speaking, Elisa put on an expressionless face. Anselm Rublin was delighted and said, I'm glad you're more reasonable than that fool. If there's nothing else, we'll take our leave. Returning to the room and lying on the bed, Richard asked, You look tired today, don't you? Good night. We need to prepare for tomorrow, so go to sleep early. Richard hesitated to say something more, but Elisa covered his mouth and said, What are you worried about? My dear husband, I've prepared everything properly. I guess tomorrow the Duke will have my maids check the bed, so I've already bribed them with a few things. So everything will be fine. I asked Andy to help out, so don't worry. Elisa took Richard's hand and said, Richard, your first time should be with someone you truly love. Don't let others sway your will. What? Because you want to share that precious moment with the person you truly love, right? Then you'll be happy. With the person you truly care for and look after. Whether it's just a kiss or your first night, don't you want to do that? Richard was like, No way. All right, let's just go to sleep. Now Richard was bothered by what Elisa had said. Love. These words are so foreign to me. My mother passed away when I was too young, and my grandmother sold me for money. My father abandoned me, and my grandfather is always trying to kill me. My life has always been a wilderness. Then one day, she walked into my life. She helped me, stayed by my side, fought for me, and even cried for me. Could this be love? I still don't know what can be called love, but I'm sure of one thing. I will never lose her. 1 month from the royal decree, Richard will depart. It's much less than the time needed to prepare to launch a war. But the royal family quickly set that date, because the kingdom of Rien is advancing very quickly. That's why Richard often trains with the monsters in the forest to prepare for the day of departure. What a despicable emperor. I'm so sad. He wakes up very early and comes home very late. You're home? Yeah. Why are you home so early today? Pull up your clothes. Why are you suddenly telling me to pull up my clothes? Why? Because you used to have a lot of scratches, so I have to check to be able to sleep well. This isn't a good thing. Elisa's face fell. What? You're injured, aren't you? Is that a big enough deal? Don't lie to me. Oh my, look at these scratches. Turn around. Elisa slapped Richard's hands. Ow. What? Don't fidget. Let me see. Richard's face turned red as Elisa lifted his clothes to check. Goodness, how can she just undress a boy like that? After a moment, Elisa asked, Richard, can you be home before dinner? Why? Because. The next day, at the end of practice, Richard panted and said, That's enough for today. If you keep this up, you'll definitely get hurt. That won't happen. Training is good, but using too much strength is not good at all. Why are you training like this? Because I want to live, doesn't everyone? That's true, but there's something more important than training. Almost all the knights spend time with their important people rather than training. Even if you don't die, you can't know how long you'll be away from them. Don't you have anyone you want to spend time with? Richard immediately remembered what Elisa had said before. Richard, can you come home early before dinner? Because I haven't finished exploring around the residence. I want to go to the north with Andy, but I'm still scared to go alone, so. Holmes' son continued, so don't be so obsessed with training. Richard took it to heart, stood up, and said, That's enough training for today. I'm going back to the ducal residence first. What? Tomorrow's training is canceled. Holmes' son was as happy as if it were a festival. He wanted to jump for joy inside. Lord above, I've been hoping for a day without training. It's finally here. Richard used all his strength to run home quickly. Training had made me forget something more important. Goodness, how could I have forgotten Elisa's words? Arriving at the room, Richard threw the door open and called out, Elisa. He immediately froze when he saw Elisa had fallen asleep in a chair. In front of her was a birthday cake and fruit. As Richard approached, Elisa opened her eyes, rubbing them and saying, Elisa, that's right, birthday. But Richard replied, Today is not my birthday, but the Duke said it was today. I don't know my date of birth. That was just a random day. Then let's make today my birthday. You want me to decide? If you don't mind, how about tomorrow? Oh no, a birthday is only celebrated once a year, so let's choose another day. Richard picked up the card Elisa had prepared to look at it. Happy birthday, Richard. He said, Tomorrow, I'll go tour the residence with you. What about training tomorrow? It's fine. All right, let's forget it. Time passed right before we realized it. The night before Richard's departure had arrived. As soon as Richard stepped through the door, Elisa suddenly wrapped her arms around Richard. So surprised, Richard asked, What is it? How do you like it? What is it? That pendant. Richard touched the pendant and asked, A pendant? That's right. They say this stone will protect its owner from bad luck. So don't you ever take it off. Richard held the pendant tightly and gave his word. Of course. Elisa, I have something to tell you. In this room, there's a secret passage hidden in the wardrobe. In case of an emergency, use it. No matter where you get lost, you must live. I will definitely come find you. Since you've said that, I feel very relieved. All right then, let's go to sleep. I have to see you off at 4 a.m. tomorrow, so I have to go to sleep early. I still have to go to some places to shop a little. You don't have to overdo it. My husband is about to go to war, so of course, I have to go see him off. Remember to wake me up. Promise. All right, I will. Then let's sleep. Okay. Early the next morning, seeing Elisa sleeping soundly, Richard gently stroked her hair and said, Don't get sick. Don't hide your worries in your heart. Then he stealthily stole a kiss from Elisa before leaving. Goodbye, Elisa. A long while after Richard had left, Elisa opened her eyes. She sat up, rubbing her eyes, and asked, What time is it? But no one answered. Turning over, she saw Richard had already left last night. Elisa touched her hair covering as she lay down and spoke, leaving without saying anything. You're too much. Richard, you promised you would wake me up. Why did you do that? You promised. You can't break your promise like that. All right, good luck. I didn't even see my husband off to war. I've become such a thoughtless wife. We'll get divorced anyway. But he should at least listen to his wife, shouldn't he? Richard would probably say, You can't even win against me, so how could you see me off? Elisa punched forward repeatedly and said, If I fought him, I would win, right? When you return, I'm going to give you a good beating. At least I'm very sad that you left like this. Have a safe journey. Richard. Somewhere, Richard also turned his head and said, Goodbye, Elisa. In the following days, there was a lot of management work to handle. I hope the Duke will allow me to attend a different class. The way they treated me grew colder and colder. They didn't even pretend to listen to me anymore. Richard's absence is definitely the problem. Ever since Richard went to the battlefield, they have been secretly ignoring me. After all, I'm just a stranger in this house without Richard. My lady, you can do it. This is my life. I'm so lucky to have him by my side. All right. Why get too bored? I'll just study more. At that moment, standing in front of a door, Elisa heard whispering from inside the room. Now put this in a bag, quickly. Oh no, if we get caught, we'll be thrown out of the ducal house right now. I've stolen a few times already, but I haven't been caught yet. How can a boy who is only 15 years old survive the battlefield? The emperor decided to send our young duke to the battlefield from the very beginning. When the young duke dies, the rebellion family will fall into someone else's hands, and we will also be replaced. Before that, we should find a way to survive. Elisa walked in and made her presence known. Ahem, I'm quite curious myself. Why don't you tell me? Oh, my lady, we are sorry. We have committed a capital crime. I was wondering, how did those things disappear when they don't have legs? But those things are very small. And if the young duke dies, this family will collapse. How dare you? In my presence, you dare speak of the young duke's death and the fall of this family. Your crime of saying and doing what you shouldn't is very serious. My lady, throw her out of the ducal house. My lady, I was wrong. Please forgive me. And let this be an example for the rest of you not to behave like her, if you don't want to be thrown out of the residence. One night, Elisa thought sadly. It has only been a month since Richard went to the battlefield. Everyone talks as if he has already lost, which makes me so worried. I know he is very strong. Of course, he will win. At that moment, and rushed in to report the news. My lady, the young duke has won the first battle. Elisa suddenly jumped to her feet and asked, what? Immediately after, she broke into a radiant smile and said, Richard, I knew you could do it. And asked curiously, will the emperor celebrate his first victory? Definitely. It will probably be a grand celebration. Elisa seemed to remember something. Wait, when is the emperor's birthday party? In 3 days. Why, my lady? Because I just had a great idea. I'm going to take the cookie jar from those ugly people. On the day of the emperor's birthday, Duke Amberlin and the young Duchess of House Rebellion were making their entrance. Elisa sneered and thought, here we go. About a week after Richard left for the battlefield, Tristan, who had been seriously ill, had recovered and attended today's party in good health. While her husband is at the battlefield, how could she just roll around in bed and eat cake? I'm going to take that precious cookie jar for myself. The people at the party were chatting. Although he's young, a rebellion is still a rebellion. Ever since I saw him at the hunting grounds, I was certain he would bring glory to the empire. He's very brave for his age. His Majesty recognized his talent, and so he was chosen. Isn't that right, Your Highness the Crown Prince? Hearing Richard being praised endlessly, Tristan reluctantly replied, that's right. Then he gritted his teeth and cursed to himself. Damn it, why am I being compared to that dog? If it weren't for my father, I would be the one going to war. If I had participated in this war, it would have ended quickly. From the side, the sound of Elisa laughing and talking with others caught Tristan's attention. Oh my, I see. That's quite unexpected. I understand. I was very surprised at first, too. Immediately after, Tristan, along with his flatterers, came over to confront Elisa. Well, who do we have here? Is this the young Duchess of House Rebellion? Elisa bowed. Greetings, Your Highness. I heard you were recently ill. Are you feeling better now? Looking at Elisa's radiant appearance, Tristan silently exclaimed that she seemed to be getting more beautiful. Then he blushed shyly and replied, yes, much better. You should try to get plenty of rest. It wouldn't be good to have to work right after recovering from an illness. But today is His Majesty's birthday. As a son, I can't just stay bedridden. Elisa began to light the fuse. Truly spoken, like Your Highness. I also don't know why such a rumor is going around. A rumor? There's a rumor that Your Highness is afraid of going to the battlefield. A rumor? There's a rumor that Your Highness is afraid of going to the battlefield and deliberately pretended to be sick. What? Why would there be such a malicious rumor? Especially about someone as filial as yourself. What bastard told you such nonsense? I must have misheard, right? Tristan quickly took the bait and replied, that's right. Tell those who spread those baseless rumors that this time the Crown Prince will go to the battlefield with the reinforcements. Wow, you are so brave. Elisa laughed inwardly. What a fool. You'll soon realize what I'm about to do. A moment later, happy birthday, Your Majesty. I have prepared this gift with all my sincerity for Your Majesty. Just like this glowing stone. I'm almost embarrassed to receive this gift from the Duchess. The young Duke has already won a great victory. Your Majesty has bestowed upon my husband a great favor, far more than he deserves. But just now I heard that. His Highness told me just now that when the reinforcements arrive, he will personally go to the battlefield. The Emperor and Empress turned pale and replied, what? Hearing this, the crowd below exclaimed, wow, His Highness is so brave. The royal family must be very pleased with this. Elisa took the opportunity to add fuel to the fire. With help from the royal family, victory is a certainty. A few days later, Tristan, with the approval of all the nobles, set out for the battlefield with the reinforcements. Elisa was very satisfied with this outcome. At this time, her aide, Ayu, asked, "My lady, do you have a message for Master Richard? Say that House Rebellion has sent supplies for the knights, and that reinforcements from the royal family are also on their way. Please give it to me, and I will deliver it to the royal knights." Elisa took a quill and wrote on a piece of paper, saying, "Thank you, just a moment." As she wrote, she thought, indeed, a letter would be best. Does he want me to write about the situation here? It would be great if he does. People predicted the war between Arankia and Prion would last for 5 years. However, Rian was more resilient than imagined, so it was predicted to last 10 years. However, 7 years had passed since the war began, despite everyone's predictions. During that time, the two of them also exchanged letters frequently. Richard would always smile happily upon receiving a letter. Holding the bouquet of flowers that came with the letter, Richard wondered, "I wonder when these flowers will wilt?" Under the hand of the rebellion storm, the kingdom of Prion was annihilated, and the war came to an end. Richard picked up the necklace and gently placed a kiss on it. "I miss you, Elisa." At that moment, Thompson ran out, saying, "Master Richard, why did you leave?" "After I had to take care of the rest of the party myself. I told them you would go with us." "Hey, what kind of flower is that?" "Never mind that, and you're all too late." "How are we supposed to keep up with your pace, master?" "Get to the point. There's a man from the Empire, and the Emperor has sent you a letter. You must have had a difficult time here. It cannot compare to the sacrifices the young Duke has made. His Majesty has prepared a grand feast for you, as well as for the royal army. In addition, is there anything you would like to request personally?" Richard, having no further requests, said, "Let's return." "Pardon, sir? I want to return to the Empire. But His Majesty has prepared a grand feast for you. A festival will also be held for the royal army that fought in the war, so it won't matter if I miss one or two." "Rebellion is returning?" Thompson was completely crestfallen. "I won't get to enjoy the feast." That person turned back and asked, "Sir Thompson, why is he in such a hurry?" "Well, he has missed his family for 7 years." Elisa, too, had now become a beautiful young woman after 7 years. In a meeting, she said, "Is everyone here? Then let's begin the meeting." One person spoke up. "I have calculated the amount of food for the order. However, it is highly likely we will face a food shortage in the territory next spring." "That's right. The Southern Territory was recently attacked by pirates and suffered severe damage. Contact the Southern Lord and tell him that we are willing to sell farming tools as well as weapons. The payment must be in food instead of gold. The Rebellion family's iron ore is high grade, so not only their weapons, but also their farming tools are highly sought after by other estates. Therefore, the farmers who lost their crops due to the drought began to focus on supporting the production of agricultural tools instead of farming to earn money for their annual taxes. Through this, the number of deaths from starvation could be reduced, and the production of weapons and farming tools to be sold to other estates could be increased. The Southern Lord agreed to that request, simply because it is better to trade food supplies for weapons to protect the domain than to let the food gradually disappear. Although this year's drought is severe, I was wondering how we would get through this winter. I am very glad that we can be guided by your wisdom. My lady, this is only a temporary solution. The crops in the South are abundant, so we can manage by trading. But it is entirely possible that the South will experience a drought along with us. Therefore, the solution now is..." Just then, a knight rushed in to announce, "My lady, I am very sorry for interrupting the meeting, but I have urgent news. The royal army will be returning soon, and the war is completely over." Elisa's face lit up upon hearing this news. Richard is coming back? Finally, this can be over. Marriage is a vow protected by Orion, the goddess of love. Therefore, a divorce must also be permitted by the goddess. After this year, we can finally get a divorce. I am about to reach the age at which we promised to divorce. Even after I came of age, I thought I would manage the affairs of House Rebellion as its mistress until Richard returned. But now the true master has returned. I will officially step down from this position. Elisa worried. Of course, I didn't expect it to be so soon. The budget for Richard's return celebration hasn't been prepared yet. Anyway, everything is ready. You have done a very good job for the past 7 years, Elisa. Since Richard joined the war, everything in the Rebellion domain. Although it's sad to leave. Goodbye, my Rebellion. Returning to her room, Elisa thought to herself, Richard must be a grown man now, right? Based on the letters Richard sent, his personality is still as blunt as before. His face, I wonder what it looks like. Just then, a fierce wind rose outside. Curious, Alyssa stood up. This wind. It's Richard. He had returned and was standing outside on the window balcony. Hello, Alyssa. I came back earlier than I thought. Because I missed. Alyssa turned and pulled Richard inside. Really? Are you tired? Let's go into the room. Alyssa thought, the way he speaks is so misleading. Shouldn't he have said he missed the Grand Duchy? Seeing Alyssa's blushing face. Because of that, Richard was very happy. I'll have the servants prepare a bath. No need. I've already bathed. Oh, really? Richard leaned in and whispered, don't you want to touch me? It's dry now. Embarrassed, Alyssa pulled her hand back and replied, no, why would I have to touch you? Then let's go to sleep. You seem exhausted after a long journey. Richard was disappointed. What are you doing? It might be uncomfortable if we sleep together, so I'll sleep on the sofa. Richard poked Alyssa's forehead and said, I told you, I'm not going to eat you all up. Is that okay? As if a weight had been lifted, Alyssa smiled brightly. All right, Richard, then come here. You seem tired. She said Richard was tired, but before he could sleep, Alyssa had already fallen asleep. Richard lay beside her, unable to take his eyes off Alyssa. He stroked her hair and thought, 7 years have passed, and I miss this face so much. My wife, the one who is always by my side. And you seem to sleep very well without needing to hug someone, don't you? How disappointing. Elsewhere, the emperor was worried. At this rate, that child will become the master of rebellion. Since we helped stir up that storm, she must fly. No, Marquis Hottest replied. It seems you're on the right track. Your Majesty, recently, the territory has changed a lot to create a good impression on foreigners, and the number of settlers is increasing. It seems they are developing their metallurgy. It seems that Duchess is quite good at managing the estate. I thought she was just a child, but she is truly beautiful. Right after she took power in place of Duke Anby, who is bedridden, she changed the way the estate was managed, reviving the army, the city, and the estate all at once. If we let this continue, the plan will be ruined, so it must be dealt with quickly. But you don't need to worry. I have already completed it. The next morning, Alyssa asked, and where is Richard? Yes, I heard the Duke is about to return. Alyssa smiled and said, I understand. Then she blushed and thought, then what about Richard visiting me last night? It couldn't have been a dream because it was too vivid. Or maybe I just had a very vivid dream because when I woke up, no one was beside me. My lady, the Duke and the knights have returned. I know. Then let's go now. The door just opened. The welcoming trumpets also sounded. The knights of House Rebellion are entering. Watching Richard and the knights slowly enter, Alyssa thought to herself, he has finally returned to Rebellion. But wait a minute, he looks just like the person I met last night. At this moment, Richard also saw Alyssa. He hurriedly jumped off his horse and came to stand in front of Alyssa. Alyssa was excited, her face blushing. Was it a dream? I don't know either. She thought, was he really with me last night? Just then, the steward called out, Sir Richard, the Duke is waiting. I know. Then let's go. Immediately after, Richard went before Anby. I have returned. Mr. Anby, trembling and breathing heavily, said, weren't you comfortable with the women I sent to the battlefield? You haven't changed a bit. Now that you have returned, make Alyssa, your wife, pregnant with the heir. I don't need to listen to those words, so I will take my leave. Once you have an heir, you can do whatever you want. Alyssa has a very special power. Richard listened without refuting anything. At this time, at the party welcoming Richard and the knights' return, everyone raised their glasses and shouted loudly, let's go. Drink to your heart's content. Don't be afraid of anyone. Let's drink until we're wasted, everyone. Cheers. Alyssa looked at Richard and thought to herself, is Richard okay? Right after he returned, he was pressured about having an heir. Suddenly, Thompson brought a glass to Alyssa and said, my lady, take a shot. What? I propose everyone raise a glass to toast the hardships Our Lady has gone through. This is our loyalty to Our Lady. Alyssa beamed. Is that so? As for Richard, his mood was the opposite, ladies and gentlemen. Seeing his wife smiling brightly at another man made him feel a bit sour. Alyssa, you don't have to listen to that. He was immediately stopped by Alyssa's finger. Alyssa took the glass, stood up, and said seriously, I am very happy that the knights have returned safely. All of you have contributed to making the name of House Rebellion widely known. Let's toast to the heroes of House Rebellion. Glory to House Rebellion. Alyssa downed it in one gulp. She slammed the glass down with a thud and said, good heavens, that was satisfying. Wow, my lady can really drink. To me, drinking this is like drinking plain water. My lady, you're the best. Richard sat beside her, worrying endlessly. A while later, everyone was tipsy. A knight said between hiccups, while we were away, my lady, has made the ducal residence prosperous. Huh, I've been through a lot. Of course, others have too. Thompson complained. That's right, my lady. The Duke was always flying, making us chase after him until we were exhausted. Is that so? I think Richard did that because he didn't want you to get hurt. Immediately, Richard stood up and took the glass from Alyssa's hand. Alyssa, stop drinking. I want to drink more. On days like this, not getting wasted is a sin. I want to drink more. Come on, Richard. Richard smiled amusedly and said, No, fine then. If you don't let me drink, I'll just sit here stubbornly. Carry me if you can, but I'm heavy. As soon as she finished speaking, Richard's arms slipped around Alyssa. Immediately, he lifted Alyssa into his arms, just as she wished, wait, let go, pull me down. The knight saw this and oohed with delight. Oh my, they look just like a newlywed couple. That's right, it's been 7 years since their engagement. Now they really look like a newlywed couple, because the Duke missed the Duchess so much. A moment later, in their private room, Richard carried her to the bed, but her arms and legs were still flailing. I want to play more. Why did you drink so much when you can only handle light alcohol? Alyssa pulled Richard's hand and said, Don't worry, just hold my hand. I'll sleep soundly. What should I do now? Right now, I can't just hold your hand. The next morning, Alyssa also opened her eyes and woke up. She groggily sat up, touched her head and said, I'm so thirsty. Why does my body feel so heavy? I think I drank a lot of beer. Always drink 100. No, I want to drink more. Remembering those things, Alyssa felt dizzy and exclaimed, Oh God, I don't want to live anymore. What did Richard do when he saw that? Just then, Richard opened the door and came in. Alyssa, startled, quickly lay down and pulled up the blanket. She had to pretend to be asleep. From outside, Richard came in, looking drenched. Alyssa wondered, he must have taken a shower, right? Why is he getting dressed in his room? Oh, that's right. This is Richard's room. But like this, it looks like he's naked. He's about to come over here. Alyssa quickly squeezed her eyes shut as Richard approached. Suddenly, Richard leaned down and whispered, Wake up, baby, unless you want to lie like that until morning. The 2 words baby made Alyssa jolt awake and sit up. Come on, I just laid down because I wasn't fully awake yet. All right, drink this. I didn't do anything too outrageous, did I? Right? Richard gave a slight smile and said, I'm not so sure about that. Alyssa trembled when Richard said those teasing words. What? Why is he smiling? A moment later, my head hurts so much now, as if someone is shaking it. She recalled the scene from a morning when Alyssa wanted to see Hugh, and Richard said, Who told you to drink so much? She mumbled, Did I really drink that much? From the window, Alyssa heard something and turned around. What's going on out there? Alyssa went to look and saw Richard. Oh, he must be on an expedition. My husband is so handsome. He's had a successful glow-up, but it seems his personality has changed. It's been 7 years, of course he would change. And Richard too. At that moment, Richard also realized Alyssa was watching him and looked up. Alyssa, having been discovered, crouched down in embarrassment. Hey, why do I have to hide? Just then and saw her and asked, My lady, what are you doing? I'm looking for where I dropped my bookmark in the book. I'll find it for you. Please rest. It's all right, and I might just be mistaken. From behind, someone called, My lady. Aaron, what is it? The Duke wishes to see you. After meeting the Duke, Alyssa returned, worried. He called me to tell me to complete the assigned task. Recalling that moment, it doesn't matter that I have to lie here. You must obey me. If not, I will definitely kill all the children you consider your limbs. That is what I wanted to tell you. Yes, I understand. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave. I hope you won't touch those close to me. All right, it's okay. Richard, I won't do anything I don't want to do. But Hens's age in the original novel is around this time. Just then, Richard returned with an angry expression. Alyssa, wearing a thin, alluring nightgown, stammered, Richard quickly draped a wrap over Alyssa's shoulders. You'll catch a cold. Right after, Richard walked straight towards the window. As he walked, he said, Forget it. Forget everything the Duke said. Alyssa ran to hold Richard back, but with a whoosh, he flew away. Wait, it's my fault. Richard, I should have found a way to avoid this situation. I can't do anything but hurt others with my complacency. I don't want this to happen anymore. I need to divorce Richard as soon as possible. A week later, late at night, Richard flew back from outside. He was surprised to see Alyssa still awake, waiting for him. Richard walked in and called for Alyssa. Alyssa replied, It's been a week. What? It's been a week that you've gone out every night and only returned after I've fallen asleep. If you feel uncomfortable about what happened, then let's sleep in separate beds. Richard was startled to hear this. What? We have to sleep in separate rooms for now? But that would be inconvenient for you. That's not it. Richard thought to himself. To be able to see your face while you sleep right next to me. How could I give that up so easily? It's a relief you don't find it inconvenient. But where do you go every night? I just go for a little walk. Hearing this, Elisa thought to herself, is he uncomfortable being around me? What should I say? Elisa stood up and said, what does it feel like to fly instead of walk? Do you want to experience it right now? Of course I do. After putting on an overcoat, Elisa said, I'm ready. Come here. I won't fall, will I? Right? You won't fall if you hug me. Elisa paused for a moment, then stepped forward and hugged Richard. Like this? Richard, delighted, smiled. Then he lifted Elisa into his arms and said, you'll fall if you hug like that. Leave everything to me. You just enjoy it. Elisa, a little nervous, squeezed her eyes shut. When they reached a certain height, Richard said, open your eyes, Elisa. Elisa opened her eyes and exclaimed, wow, it's so beautiful. It's like a dream. Thank you so much, Richard. Me too. A week had passed since that night. The Duke found out that Richard wasn't sleeping in the manor, and in a fit of anger, he had everyone prepare another room for him. He's obsessed with the air if another woman is allowed to enter. I'm trying not to be with Richard, but I still have to find the best way to resolve this mess. May I come in? Richard, what is it? Seeing Richard's muscles, Elisa quickly turned away and said, ahem, could you fix your clothes? Richard also adjusted his clothes and said, all right, about that matter, we need a solution. Just then, someone knocked on the door from outside and said, Sir Richard, are you in there? Come in. And what is it? You should go to the Duke's room immediately. The Duke probably won't make it through the day. Anselm Rubelin's body grew weak, his breathing labored. The doctor said, everyone, please prepare for the worst. Everyone leave. I want to talk to my grandfather for a bit. Elisa, about to feel sad, thought this is too sudden. Why was he so determined to build this family with his entire life? He can't take everything with him when he dies anyway. Elisa bowed her head and said, please rest in peace, then left. Now, only Richard remained. He said, please stay with us a little longer, so that the hopes and desires you couldn't achieve will torture you painfully. Instead, you chose a comfortable death. From now on, Rubelin will be mine. Grandfather, thanks to the loving words of his grandson, Anselm Rubelin passed away right then and there. Now, please watch over me from hell. Sometime after Anselm Rubelin's death, Richard and Elisa were discussing work when in called, my lady, may I come in? Come in, and entered with a tray of tea and light refreshments. Elisa happily accepted it. Thank you very much, Anne. It's my job. And looked at the two of them engrossed in their discussion and thought. Whenever I see the two of them, they look like a match made in heaven. Everyone in the ducal residence thinks so. But why does the Duchess want to divorce the Duke? And took a letter from her person and said, ah, my lady, a letter has arrived. Thank you, Anne. Richard snooped. From Viscount Arndt? That's right. He helped me a lot when grandfather and you, the Duke, were away. Don't you remember? You were also invited to the party back then. Why did he send a letter? Well, I asked him for a few things. In the letter, Ansel wrote, to my dear friend, Elisa. Elisa, by the time this letter reaches you, spring will have arrived in the north, right? The weather here is warmer than I imagined, so I have asked the workers to speed up the construction of the villa. If nothing goes wrong, the mansion will be completed next month. Therefore, you should prepare to move. I hope good news will come to you with a warm spring breeze. Your dear friend, Ansel. After reading the letter, Elisa thought to herself, it's time to talk about it. During the funeral, everything was taken care of. At the funeral of the former Duke Amby, I didn't leave because I also felt sad, and I watched Richard stand there like an emotionless man. But now, he seems to be doing fine. Even without me, he can handle the territory's problems just fine. Just then, Ague said, all of today's paperwork is finished. Thank you very much. Both of you may go. Yes, my lady. Richard, are you free? I have something to talk to you about. What is it? It's nothing serious, but we should talk about it beforehand. Honestly, I can't just say, let's get a divorce, even if this is just a marriage in name only. But I have lived as the lady of the house for 8 years. However, I still have to talk to Richard about it. He will live very happily with the person he loves, not the person the former Duke Amby chose. She said, now we should. Suddenly, Homeson burst in through the door calling, Duke, I apologize for the sudden interruption, but a huge number of monsters have appeared in the western forest. Monsters? Yes, many people have been injured. Richard left in a hurry. We'll talk about your thing later. Elisa. All right, be careful. I'll go on ahead. You all gather the knights and follow me. Yes, sir. That's strange. The number of monsters has been increasing lately. Last winter, monsters never appeared in the western forest. Not long ago, there was a report that monsters had appeared in the northwestern forest. Is the number of monsters increasing because it's spring? Or has something agitated the monsters? While deep in thought, Ague ran in to report. My lady, there's been an avalanche on Mount Luke. What? Are there any casualties or property damage? About 20 houses were buried under the snow, but there were no casualties. It's all thanks to the residents being warned and evacuated. That's a relief. Prepare food and necessities for the victims affected by the avalanche. I understand. I will dispatch a team of knights immediately. That won't be necessary. I will go there myself. A moment later, at the site of the avalanche. My lady, we have arrived. Looking at the scene before her, Elisa had to exclaim, "Oh my God, the entire village has been buried." They lost their homes before spring even had a chance to arrive. Elisa dismounted her horse and asked, "Is everyone all right? Is anyone injured or buried under the snow?" "No one is injured, but my brother went into the forest. He went into the forest to gather firewood early this morning, but he hasn't returned yet. Fortunately, he went the western forest. The western forest is far from the landslide area, but that's where many monsters have been reported." "What's your name?" "Liana." "Then what is your brother's name?" "It's Jonathan." "Liana, you are a very brave girl. Even without your brother here, you've taken very good care of the house. The knights will find your brother soon, so please wait." Elisa looked towards the western forest and thought, "We have to find the boy as quickly as possible. Only then can we ensure he's still alive. I hope he's safe until someone finds him." Right now, in the western forest, the boy Jonathan was very close to the monsters. Jonathan hid behind a bush and thought, "What should I do now? I can't go back because of the monsters." At the landslide site, Ague, what's the status? Everyone is ready to move to the nearest village. We are still negotiating this matter because there are many victims in this landslide. So the solution now is to have them go to the nearby village. All right, we should also provide them with necessities. You should post more guards to prevent any unforeseen circumstances. I understand, my lady. Lawrence, what is the status of the search for Jonathan? We found footprints believed to be the boy's in the western forest. We will find him soon. All right, I will go with you. You shouldn't do that. My lady, the western forest is very dangerous. Elisa held up her hand to stop him. She said, "I trust in the protective abilities of the Rublin Knights." Lawrence was immediately convinced by Elisa. It started to get dark. We must speed up the search. My lady, please come here. This is the corpse of a Zadie. Seeing it, Elisa wondered, why would a monster that lives high in the mountains come down here to harm people? Anyway, I think there will be an avalanche. We should return to the village. No, based on monster behavior, they would seek quiet places to avoid contact with humans. In the forest or near caves. There must be a reason. Something must have lured the monsters. Everyone continued to search diligently until it got dark. Ague said, "The weather is starting to turn bad. My lady, it looks like snow will be coming soon. But the knights and I will search for a little while longer." "That's not necessary. I have a few things to consider." Lawrence said, "The snow is starting to fall heavily and it's dark. The search will be very difficult. We will resume the search as soon as the snow stops. So please return to the tent, my lady." Sir Lawrence is right. It's too dangerous. Just then, a piercing scream caught their attention. "Ah, that voice. Hurry this way." A moment later, we've found the child. "Everything's all right, Jonathan. Let's go back. Your sister is waiting." Jonathan looked towards Elisa and shouted, "My lady, there's a monster behind you." "A wolf? This isn't their habitat, is it?" The wolf bared its fangs and claws at Elisa. Elisa looked at it and thought, am I going to die like this? In a moment of crisis, Elisa put her hand out to block it. Then, the unexpected happened the moment Elisa's hand touched the wolf. It immediately became friendly, no longer aggressive. Before Elisa could understand what was happening, Lawrence charged forward. "Everyone attack. Get back to safety. My lady, protect the Duchess and the child. We're surrounded. What should I do now?" Just then, a gust of wind blew and Elisa immediately recognized it. This wind, Richard. Elisa looked up and saw Richard hovering high above. "Everyone fall back. These monsters dare to attack Elisa." A bolt of lightning struck, and the wolves dropped dead. Unexpectedly, the lightning bolt accidentally cracked the ground where Elisa was standing. Elisa, still unaware of the approaching danger, looked up and said to Richard, "Thank God. Thank you. Richard looked down, his face turning pale. Before he could do anything, Elisa fell along with the collapsing earth. Richard hurriedly dove after her. Mary, catch Elisa. Because the speed was too fast, Richard could only curse. Damn it, I can't change direction. Splash. And so, both of them successfully fell into the water. The knights called out worriedly after them, "My lady, your grace." Having fallen into the current, Richard held Elisa tightly and thought, "The current is too strong. I can't surface. I need to hurry." Why did the current change? After a while, Richard finally managed to bring Elisa up from the water. Richard quickly swam to the shore. That was close. I would have definitely been in danger if the current hadn't changed. When they reached the shore, Elisa had fainted. Richard looked at Elisa's pale face with worry. "Elisa, no, Elisa. I have to perform artificial respiration." Richard leaned down and used all his strength to give Elisa mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Please, Elisa." After a while, Elisa finally coughed and vomited water. Richard quickly hugged Elisa. "She's in danger. Her body temperature is dropping too fast. There must be a village nearby. Please, let there be a village nearby." After finding a shelter, Richard used his own body to warm Elisa. After a while, Elisa woke up. The first thing she felt was Richard's warmth. So warm. Elisa started to look around. Where is this? Isn't this the ducal mansion? What is this? A chest? While Elisa was still bewildered, Richard spoke. "You're awake? How is your body?" Elisa's face flushed as she asked, "No, why are we sleeping like this?" "What? Cuddling without any clothes on?" Richard explained. "This is an abandoned house. Our clothes were wet, so I had no other choice. We fell into the river below the cliff. But everything is fine now. You don't need to worry." Elisa's gaze couldn't leave Richard's chest. She thought to herself, "No, absolutely not. I don't know where to look anymore. We have to sleep like this, regardless of whether you hate me. Your body is still very cold." "No, I don't hate you. I like it a lot. Everything about you." "Oh my, girl, get a hold of your dignity. Be a little more reserved." After saying that, Elisa was startled and thought, "Why did I answer like that? Isn't this answer too strange? I mean, I like hugging him without clothes on." Embarrassed, Elisa sat up and said, "I'm so thirsty. Let me find something to drink. There's nothing here. I've already looked. I should look again anyway." "Are you that thirsty? There's wine." "Really? All right, here we go again." Richard said, "It's a survival item used to maintain body temperature. I always carry it with me. However, the wine I brought is very strong. Are you a lightweight?" Elisa agreed and took it. Richard reminded her, "It's very strong." "I know." Elisa tilted her head back and took a long swig. Richard was stunned to see it. "That's enough for you to drink. Come on, just one more sip. Please, give it to me." A moment later, "How do you feel after drinking wine like it was water?" "Well, it's very different from beer. Thank you for saving me. Thank you for us being adults. And thank you for returning safely." Looking at Elisa's silly smile made Richard gulp. "Let's get some more sleep. We have a lot of time until sunrise. We need to recover." "No, don't you feel anything? We're naked and hugging each other. Does it seem that way? Do I look very naked?" Elisa blushed. "Well, I'm going to sleep." Just as Elisa stood up, Richard pulled her into a hug. The two of them looked into each other's eyes, under the influence of the alcohol, the passion of youth and the call of their hearts. They both called each other's names, Elisa, Richard, and then they moved closer to each other, slowly giving each other a gentle, passionate, and smooth kiss like Chunxiao. Kissing until their mouths were tired, they looked at each other passionately. Richard breathed heavily and said, "I'm sorry, but..." "Richard, I want more." Richard was like, "If you like it, I'll make a move. I'm handsome and you're beautiful. What's wrong with us getting together?" After realizing the opportune moment had arrived, Richard pushed Elisa down onto the ground and they began their second lesson. "Oh, Elisa, are you sure? Do you want to do this?" Elisa wrapped her arms around his neck and called for Richard. Then she pulled Richard closer, as if to answer his question. A second later, the wind outside was howling, the fire inside was crackling, and our main characters were busy testing each other. By the time they had memorized all their lessons, Elisa was exhausted and fell asleep in Richard's arms. Watching her sleep soundly, Richard thought to himself, "Our first night together here, and I didn't prepare anything at all. I'm sorry, Elisa, but I'm so happy that you allowed me. You and I, perhaps we have shared our feelings with each other. Sleep well, Elisa." The next morning, as sunlight crept through the window frame and woke Elisa up. By now, the effects of the alcohol had worn off, and her body temperature was normal. Elisa was startled and horrified to see Richard lying naked next to her. This, my head. Wait, I vaguely remember some things." Recalling the wild scene from last night, Elisa silently exclaimed, "No, it can't be. I'm in big trouble." Oh God, I've gone mad. Elisa stirred for a moment, and Richard woke up and asked, "How are you feeling?" "I'm sorry, Lord Richard. I drank a little too much last night. I lost my mind. I think this is a problem that can't be solved with just an apology. I'm very sorry. I promise this will not happen in the future." Having just woken up, Richard was stunned by Elisa's words. Is she trying to deny responsibility or something? Elisa worried. What should I do next? It seems I've hurt him, all because of my selfish actions. Richard was about to reach out and reassure her when the knights called from outside. "Duke, Duchess, are you two in there? It seems they've come here to search for us." Then suddenly, in an instant, Elisa turned pale for some reason, and then fainted in Richard's arms, making him so worried his pants nearly fell off. Oh wait, he wasn't wearing any to fall off. Haha. Elisa's body began to tremble and break out in a sweat. "Wake up, Elisa." In her delirium, Elisa saw herself wandering in a strange place. Suddenly, someone called Elisa's name. That person asked, "Your first night with the one you truly love?" She was the Elisa from the original novel. She spoke with a wicked face. "After all, you are me, aren't you? Don't you think that was a mistake? Don't lie to me. You enjoyed it too, didn't you?" With that, she lunged forward and choked Elisa. "No, you'd better just accept the fact that you will never escape the original novel. You will never have love, and you will have to live a tragic life. You will have to die, just like in the original novel." At this moment, Richard was also keeping watch by Elisa's bed. Elisa was having a terrible dream, her breathing ragged, drenched in sweat. Seeing this, Richard blamed himself. "It's all my fault. Elisa wasn't in the best condition from the start, but I couldn't restrain my desire. I'm sorry, it's all my fault, Elisa." Thompson stood behind and asked, "Duke, is the Duchess any better?" "Elisa's body temperature has started to stabilize. She should wake up soon. All the monsters that had suddenly gone berserk have returned to their normal state. This is what we found on the monster we caught yesterday." Richard looked at it, stunned. This is a demonic soul stone. Where did you find this?" "It came from the wolf we encountered yesterday. At that time, it seems the soul stone hadn't completely dissolved, so we were able to retrieve it. The demonic soul stone is a stone that can only be found in the northern part of the Rublin territory, and things that absorb this stone for a long time will have their souls collapse and lose their lives. All that remains is a shell of something that has become a monster attacking other life forms. Someone has been taking the stone from an exposed area in the canyon and placing it all over the Rublin territory. The exposed area can only be in the canyon, but there's a barrier around that place. Who could have done this? Richard handed the stone back to Thompson and said, "Thompson, I'm preparing to investigate the cave. Get ready." Scene change, now at a cave. What happened here? These soldiers were guarding the barrier. Even the purification sword has been broken. "Duke, there are other soldiers heading this way. The souls of all of them have collapsed from the demonic soul stone." Richard drew his sword and said, "Let them rest in peace." "Oh my God, they're like zombies." Richard and the knights quickly drew their swords and sent them on their final journey. A moment later, all the bodies of the soldiers have been gathered. "Let's go inside." Yes. As we went inside, there was no sign of any monsters. Do even the monsters avoid this place? Why is there suddenly fresh air in here? This is the purification lake that contains the power of the god Ion. This is the place that prevents any demonic spirits from escaping the canyon. Everyone, raise your guard. I don't think we'll be safe just by being near the lake. We don't know what might happen to us. Yes, we understand. Right after, Richard saw a monster. A monster in the shape of a human. Richard spoke up. "Are you human? Stop if you still have any consciousness. If you keep advancing, I will consider you a monster and send you to the great beyond. I guess you've lost your mind." Richard used magic on that monster. Just as the monster fell, Richard approached and drew his sword to stab it. But right after, that monster spoke. "I have waited for this for a long time, my desire." Richard froze upon hearing this. "Desire?" Thompson ran up and asked, "Duke, are you all right?" "I'm fine. If there's nothing else special here, let's go back." "Yes, Duke." Richard thought to himself. That's strange. The monster just now looked extremely familiar. A few steps after Richard left, black smoke from that monster flew out and entered Richard's body. Richard felt a sharp pain and collapsed. The knights rushed over worriedly. Duke. Returning to the Rublin estate, Elisa woke up and heard and talking about the demonic soul stone. The demonic soul stone? Yes, that's why so many monsters have been appearing lately. Because of that, the Duke went to the exposed land to investigate. Elisa thought to herself, could the Emperor be behind this? Why have so many people been investing in the Rublin's real estate lately? just to reduce the Rublin family's influence. They're willing to harm the people? Duchess, don't worry too much. I'm sure the Duke will handle it well and return soon. I know. How long has it been since I've seen Richard? Just because of that incident, I haven't seen him for days. I started to worry more after having that dream. Will Richard's attitude toward me be the same? Being hurt by an unwanted relationship like in the original novel. What if Richard hates me? I don't know either. I'm so worried. I thought it would be different from the original novel. Just then, a servant ran in with news about Richard. After hearing it, Elisa ran off in a panic. Elisa ran while calling for Richard. Richard, she recalled what the servant had said. Someone said he had fainted in the ravine, although it was reported that he was safe and had returned to his residence. Elisa wondered, is he badly hurt? I don't know if he's okay. Richard was standing ahead, talking with the knights. We don't know what will happen, so keep your distance, if anything unexpected happens. At that moment, Elisa ran up and called out to Richard. As Richard turned around, Elisa said, "You're back, are you all right?" Suddenly, Richard walked past her and said, "Later, we'll talk next time." Seeing Richard's cold attitude, Elisa stood frozen and dejected. Elisa's feeling was like mine whenever I finish my work and people either don't watch it or criticize it. Richard returned to his room and immediately took a bath. Richard looked at his filthy state and said, "I almost ended up tainting Elisa. I almost hugged her as soon as we met." He remembered Thompson's earlier warning. You should be more careful around others during this time. There are some different reports, and normally healthy people won't have a problem, but the evil energy can affect those who are weak. It can cause others to faint, so it's better to be careful. I could have affected Elisa. I have to stay away from her for a few days. And my wish. That monster looked straight at me and talked about a wish. Normally I would ignore this, but this time I'm quite concerned about it. A moment later, Agwu handed Richard an object. "Sir, we found a broken insignia near the ravine. It has the mark of Viscount Roas' house on the back. If it's Viscount Roas, I will send someone to monitor Viscount Roas' house." The Roas family is known to be nobles close to the emperor. Furthermore, the emperor's son-in-law, Marquis Felix, is known to run errands for the emperor. They not only work with our side, but also with the Rublin house. I will send someone to monitor Viscount Roas' house. No need, I will go myself, and Elisa will go with me. Elisa and I will be gone for 3 days, so get ready. I understand. Elisa had become gloomy after that encounter. It seems he wants to avoid me. As I thought, he wants to act like nothing happened, but to avoid me so blatantly like this. And entered from outside and asked, my lady, are you all right?" I'm fine. Please don't worry too much, my lady. He is very strong. Nothing will happen to him. It seems she thinks I'm worried because I don't look well. Of course, Richard is strong. That's right. So, my lady, please take some time for yourself and get well soon. I know a tea that will be very good for you. I'll go make it. I'm fine. Tell them I'll be having dinner in the kitchen. Yes, my lady. Elisa told herself, "That's right, I shouldn't overthink it. I have to go see Richard to talk. Maybe he's acting like this because he's busy." But at dinner, Richard had the butler inform her. He intended to eat alone. The evil energy from the polluted land could adversely affect those with weak health. He is worried about you, my lady, so it's best that the two of you don't dine together. I understand. Elisa returned with a troubled face and looked at the empty chair in front of her. After dinner, Elisa went to the study to find Richard. "Richard, are you in here?" "Elisa, what is it?" "I came because I have something to say." "It's nothing. Go ahead and speak. It seems you're still bothered by what happened. Please just think of it as an accident. We are married, so it's not a problem. Please just pretend that nothing happened." Richard heard this and thought, what, an accident? It's supposed to be an accident because we're a couple. I'll just forget about it. Elisa, is that what you think? Richard was angered by this, so he stood up, and as he approached, Elisa spoke again. "Don't be bothered by it. You had no intention of doing that." As soon as she finished speaking, Richard walked past Elisa. After opening the door, Richard said, "Go back, Elisa. You'll be in danger if you're near me, so don't come here." "I understand." Then Elisa also left. "Good night, Richard." As soon as Elisa left the room, Richard closed the door and slumped down against it. "Elisa, when will you?" "The next day, my lady. This way to the carriage is fine." "All right, I know." While she was feeling cheerful, Elisa heard Richard's voice, and when she arrived, Elisa turned to look and saw Richard getting into another carriage. Elisa thought to herself, "Richard is taking a different carriage. It's better this way." Since that day, we haven't even had time to meet or talk. If we rode in the same carriage, it would be awkward and uncomfortable. Seeing Elisa's gloomy expression, and asked, "My lady, you don't look well. Are you in pain somewhere?" "Oh no, I was just thinking about something else. Let's get in the carriage. Let's depart quickly. Finally, we're back in the capital. It's been a while since I left the domain, so it feels strange, because it feels as if I could never return. That's right, it's really time to leave, because now is the time to prepare for the divorce. Half a month later, seeing Elisa's listlessness and was worried. My lady, are you feeling much better than before? Yes, I'm much better than a moment ago. It's been about half a month since we started the journey back to the capital. Elisa, who normally doesn't get motion sickness, started showing symptoms of it and had a cold. When evening fell, Richard gave an order. We will rest here for today. Get ready. Yes, Your Grace. Standing in front of Elisa's tent, Richard pondered. Although it won't be long before we reach the mansion in the capital. But if we push ourselves too hard, Elisa will get sicker. The evil energy has all disappeared now. It should be fine to go see Elisa, right? Richard approached and asked, Elisa, how is she? Her ladyship is feeling much better than before. Would you like to go inside, Your Grace? Richard lifted the flap and entered. Seeing him, Elisa sat up. Richard, you should have told me sooner so we could stop and rest. I'm fine, don't worry. From outside and called. My lady, I brought you some food. Please eat a lot and get well soon. The moment Elisa saw and bring in the food, her face turned pale. Ugh, why does the smell of food suddenly feel so unpleasant? Elisa hurriedly covered her mouth with her hand. Wretch, my lady, are you okay? Richard was immediately pushed away by Elisa's hand. Elisa hurriedly covered her mouth and ran outside, and saw this and was alarmed. My lady, I will follow her ladyship. You take care of the camp. Yes, ma'am. After Elisa finished vomiting, Richard asked, Elisa, are you okay? Elisa was exhausted, just panting without answering. I'll take you to a doctor in the nearby village. No, it's just that my motion sickness is worse today. It's fine. According to, and it's not just motion sickness. You've also lost your appetite and have a slight fever. In that case, when we get to Accra, I'll go for a checkup then. Besides, I'm very tired now and just want to go back to the tent quickly. Don't worry about me. You should go eat. Richard froze as Elisa left like that, but Elisa was worried. My period hasn't come this month. Elisa placed a hand on her stomach and thought, could it be Richard's child? But Richard has been trying so hard until now to cut ties with his family. He doesn't want children and takes no pleasure in the idea. On the contrary, there's only resentment and hatred. Richard in the original hated the unwanted child and intended to get rid of it. If so, this can't happen. As soon as they returned to the mansion, Richard hurriedly ordered, bring the physician here, as quickly as possible. I understand. Richard, I'm tired from just getting home. Can the examination wait until tomorrow? It'll only take a moment. It'll be over after the checkup. When he examines you, I'll be by your side, so don't worry. Hearing that Richard would be by her side, the color drained from Elisa's face. Seeing this, Richard thought, something is different from usual. Is she in a lot of pain? A moment later, Your Grace, the doctor has arrived. Greetings, Your Grace. My wife's health has not been good lately. I hope you will examine her thoroughly to find the illness. I understand. Elisa watched the approaching doctor with anxiety. What should I do? At this rate, Richard will discover the truth. Please, no. Just then, Fawn's son ran in. Your Grace, there is an urgent matter to report. Is it that urgent? It's an important case, sir. Maurice, report back to me after the examination. Yes, my lady. Please give me your hand. Perhaps a medical examination isn't necessary. Sir Maurice. Yes, but Elisa said, it's just symptoms of dizziness from severe motion sickness. My husband is just being overly worried. A few days of rest, and I'll be fine. In that case, if you have even the slightest strange symptom, you must tell me immediately, my lady. I'll remember. Then please rest comfortably, my lady. As soon as the doctor left, Elisa called out, and I have a favor to ask. Yes, my lady. Right now, find a discreet doctor on the outskirts of the capital. Afterward, Elisa went to a clinic. The doctor there, after taking her pulse, said, just as I suspected, you are pregnant. Are you sure? Yes. Although it's still a bit faint, I am certain you are pregnant. You should be careful during the first trimester. I'm pregnant? Coming outside and asked, my lady, when did you? On the day that you fell from the cliff, my lady. Elisa looked at and thought to herself, yes, thinking it over, everything would be better if I divorced Richard. And then this happened, with tears in her eyes, and said, you must be having a very difficult time, right? I should have taken better care of you. I was too ignorant of these signs. I'm sorry, my lady. No, you did very well in that situation. You did better than I thought, and so don't cry anymore. My lady, what should we do now? You told me you were preparing for a divorce. But now you have a baby in your belly. Would it be better for you to live with the Duke than to divorce? Elisa's face darkened as she replied, Richard doesn't want this baby. He hates this child, and was stunned to hear this. What? And thought to herself, then why did the Duke spend the night with my lady without any preparation? My lady must have been so tired at that time. I was wrong about the Duke. I thought living with an irresponsible man was good for my lady. And are you okay? And patted her chest and said, I will protect you and the baby well. So please don't leave me behind. Thank you, Aunt. I'm so glad you're always by my side. That evening, please get some rest, my lady. All right. As soon as and left, Elisa touched her stomach and thought, could this child be Hans? In the original novel, Hans was a child who received no love from anyone. Hans's mother, the original Elisa, was always just seeking Richard's love and neglected the boy. Meanwhile, Hans's father, Richard, had hated the child since he was in Elisa's womb. Because of a loveless childhood, that child became the second male lead with a tragic love. The boy kidnapped the female lead, imprisoned her, and craved love from the female lead. This cannot be allowed to happen. Therefore, this is the best way. For a time, I thought I wouldn't divorce Richard, but live with him as a friend, and manage the Reuben territory together, until those things appeared. Although I only serve Lord Amby, I have always hoped that the Master would take care of you. Not because it is Lord Amby's will, but for your own sake. Or, there's another woman you have kept in your heart. If that is the reason, then the engagement being cancelled. You seem to be a loyal servant, don't you? He still has a lackey to do his bidding, even after he's dead. But I will never live like that again. In my life, there will be no children at all. I still remember Richard's hateful voice. If we can't live happily together, then the three of us don't need to live together. My child, I'm still a novice mother, but I will do everything to help you have a happy life. A few days later, I need to find a really good place to raise this child. Besides being pregnant and giving birth, I also need to know everything about the Rebellin family's power. Hans will have the Rebellin family's power, just like Richard. When Richard was young, no one guided him on how to control his power. So Richard had to go through a lot of trial and error to be able to control it. In the original novel, Hans was injured several times before he could learn how to control it. But I need to protect him so that doesn't happen. Just then, Aaron came in and reported, My lady, a letter from Viscount Ader has arrived. Thank you. Elisa took out the letter to read. Dear friend Elisa, everything you requested is ready. The villa's repairs were completed last week. I have had postcards of the villa printed to send to you. If you see it in person, it's even more beautiful than in the postcards. If you have chosen a date to arrive, I will send someone to pick you up. Wishing you all the best. From Sinetti, Unsel. Is everything finally done? I should get ready now. Elisa was so engrossed in the letter that she didn't notice Richard's arrival. Elisa. She was startled only when Richard called for the second time. What? Richard, I called your name, but you didn't answer, so I came here. At this moment, Richard also saw the letter in Elisa's hand. That letter. Elisa quickly folded it and asked, Why are you here so early today? Is something wrong? I finished work early today, so I came to ask if you wanted to have dinner with me. I see you're always cooped up in your room. Have you been eating properly lately? It's just a little inconvenient to go to the dining room. I always eat alone. Then let's eat together today. You haven't been looking well lately. Elisa thought to herself, he'll find out about my condition if we eat together. He'll call the doctor again if I say no. Elisa ushered Richard out, saying, Shall we? Go take a bath first, and we'll eat together. We'll eat after you finish your bath. All right, Elisa thought to herself, Richard can't do anything if I go to sleep first. Richard stood up to leave, his eyes always fixed on that letter. Just looking at it, you can tell something is wrong. As soon as Richard left, Elisa picked up the letter and said, I need to tell him quickly. A few days later, Richard had a meeting with the Emperor. It's been a while, young Duke. Oh no, I should call you Duke now, shouldn't I? It is my honor to be in the presence of the glorious light of Arankia. I feel this matter could endanger Arankia. Therefore, I have come here to report to your majesty. I have been investigating the monsters recently, and they are becoming more and more ferocious. There are some signs that someone has put demonic soul stones inside them. All the soldiers in Roven have been ambushed. Hearing this, the Emperor slammed his hand on the chair. How terrible. They've reached Roven. Do you know who the culprit is? Hearing these words, Richard cursed inwardly, deceitful bastards. Richard recalled, if it were me, I would swear on my father's name. I have no idea what's happening here. Although Viscount Noha Kang was disgusting enough to trick his illegitimate son into working for him, it's still better than the Emperor who is shamelessly sitting here witnessing this event. We are about to catch him. If someone is foolish enough to do this, the rebellion family will always be strong enough to punish them. So, tremble under the name of rebellion. In the name of my family, I will find the culprit behind this and punish him. With that, Richard turned and left, leaving the emperor behind, trembling with anger. After a few steps, Richard suddenly felt a chill run down his spine. He thought, what is this? I suddenly feel a chill down my back. It's probably nothing serious. That night, after returning, Richard saw Elisa lingering in front of his room. Elisa, you're still awake? I have something to tell you. It's late now. Let's talk tomorrow. You won't be here when I wake up tomorrow morning, and you always come home very late. Even if it were earlier, I still have to say this. Richard, let's get a divorce. Richard felt as if he'd been struck by lightning, turned back and asked, what? Divorce? Yes, we agreed to divorce as soon as I came of age, because I would leave this family after 8 years. Richard asked, is it because of him? What do you mean? Unsel Ader. Is it because of him? What? Why are you bringing up Unsel? He's just a friend. I'm suggesting a divorce because that was our promise from 8 years ago. You don't remember it? I was too content with everything. She stayed with me after that day without saying anything. I thought she had forgotten about that promise. I will not divorce you. Richard, no, you can't. You are my wife, the lady of the house of rebellion. It will always be that way. Richard was startled to see Elisa trembling. He quickly let go of her and said, it's late. You should go to sleep. What? Richard. Good night, Elisa. With that, Richard went straight into his room, leaving Elisa stunned in her spot. Why was he so angry? I just made a decision that would make everyone happy. The next morning, Elisa was still wondering, what should I do now? Based on his attitude last night, he definitely won't agree to a divorce. Is it because our relationship has changed? What if he wants this baby? That's right. Nothing is impossible. All right, let's try talking to Richard again. Just as she reached the door, Elisa ran into Richard. Richard, what's wrong? I just wanted to see if you've had lunch. I want to eat with you. I'm sorry. I woke up a bit late today, so I just finished breakfast. Richard suddenly stammered then. Do you want to go to the suburbs with me? Staying in a mansion all the time isn't good. Great. I want to talk to Richard about that too. Elisa replied brightly. Yes, let me get ready. Then I'll prepare lunch and come pick you up. Yes, while getting ready, and asked, will everything be all right, my lady? What? Your ladyship's health isn't very good. I don't think you should go out, my lady. I'm fine. It's been a while since I've been out, so I'm very happy. If you don't feel well, my lady, please let me know. I will carry you. Oh my, Elisa, are you ready? Seeing Elisa beautifully made up, Richard froze for a few seconds. I'm ready. Really? Then let's go. Please be careful, my lady. I'll be back soon. In the carriage, Elisa wondered, is it because of last night? He hasn't said anything since we got in the carriage. Unlike in the original novel, The Current Richard, he sees me as both a family member and a friend. So even if he's upset, he'll still worry about me first. And the fact that he doesn't want a divorce is probably because our relationship is different from the novel. If so, maybe I still have some hope for a beautiful future without having to divorce. After thinking for a while, Elisa fell asleep again. Seeing Elisa nodding off, Richard quickly moved to support her. Richard watched her sleep and thought to himself, Elisa, why do you want to leave me? After 7 years, we were finally able to be together again. Yet you bring up a promise from 8 years ago and want a divorce. But now, I can't live without you anymore. I truly hope we can be together forever, Elisa. The carriage stopped at a garden of blooming cherry blossoms. How are you feeling? You didn't look well in the carriage just now. It was just motion sickness. I'm fine. At that moment, they were both drawn to a family in front of them. Daddy, hire. It looks like a family on a picnic, doesn't it? The children look so cute. Is that so? Well, have you ever thought about having children? Richard was startled and thought, does she want to have children? Putting Ambi aside, I have no reason not to have children. Actually, I don't dislike the idea of having a child, but I heard that pregnancy and childbirth are very hard on the mother's body. I don't want Elisa's small, frail body to endure something like that. That's right. I don't want children because I'm worried about Elisa. Thinking this, Richard replied, I've never really wanted to have children. Okay, congratulations. You've just landed on lose a turn. But Richard was about to say something, but was interrupted by a child running toward Elisa. Oh my, this little one. It seems the child wants to greet you, my lady. Elisa looked radiant. One active child. Pardon me, my lady. I will return the child to its parents. They must be worried. Be careful on your way. Goodbye. Shall we go now? Yes. Elisa was dejected. I knew it. Richard doesn't want children. It was just a pipe dream. To avoid that unhappy future, I need to leave this place. From Richard's perspective, this was a casual answer, because he was mentally abused so much by Ambi. I know that, but I hope that I really, That's right. Let's change everything. I don't need to worry about false hope anymore. If Richard and I don't divorce, I will run away. That will make the baby, myself, and Richard happy. At this moment, and slowly approached. My lady, and I've brought you medicine. Medicine? This is a medicine made from herbs that helps reduce the symptoms of morning sickness. You should take 1 spoonful before meals. Elisa became cheerful upon receiving it. Anti-morning sickness medicine? In reality, even medicine isn't 100% effective, so I'm not sure if this will help you, my lady. Without this medicine, I won't be able to hide it from Richard. Thank you. And, my lady, it's best if you're careful from now on. Even if the Duke asks you to leave, you should refuse. I was just wondering if you, my lady. The conversation stopped abruptly when Richard's voice called out, Elisa. Elisa flinched as if she had done something wrong. What? Richard. Watching him slowly approach, she worried. What should I do now? Does he know everything already? Why are you still here? Seeing Elisa's trembling hand holding the vial of medicine, Richard turned to and said, I need to talk to Elisa, so you may go back. All right, go back and... Yes, my lady. Richard grabbed Elisa's hand and questioned her. Elisa, don't hide it from me anymore. What's wrong with you? What's wrong? Everything you see is not what it seems. Richard, then what is that medicine? I don't think it's a good idea to talk about this here, so let's talk in the room. Suddenly, Richard hugged Elisa tightly. Elisa, are you planning to leave me and die alone? I have no intention of letting you go. So, if you die, you must die in my arms, Elisa. Richard said, with tears streaming down his face. Elisa looked at this scene and thought, Richard, if he has shown me this expression, it would be foolish of me not to trust him one more time. What he just gave me is just medicine for a stomachache. So don't worry about me. Then I will take care of you from now on. Elisa smiled brightly and agreed, okay. A few days later, I thought he would only take care of me for a day or two, but I didn't think he would stay with me for several days like this. He even sleeps next to me. It's only a matter of time until he finds out. As soon as the morning sickness symptoms disappear, my belly will get bigger and bigger. By then, Richard will know. I want you to live happily, and the baby in my belly too. I hope he will grow up happily without being hated by his father. So, please understand my choice, Richard. One morning, when Richard had a duty to attend to and had to leave, Elisa asked, are you about to leave? I have a doctor on standby at the residence. If you get hurt, call the doctor, and don't skip meals even if you don't have an appetite. I know, don't worry too much. It's still early, you should sleep more. No, I need to see my husband off from the residence. Richard looked at Elisa and said goodbye. Suddenly, Elisa rushed forward and hugged Richard. This action made Richard blush with happiness, not knowing that it was a farewell hug. Richard hugged her back. I'll be back soon. I'm glad you said goodbye. As soon as Richard left, Elisa immediately turned and said, yes, my lady, get everything ready. We're leaving this place. A while later, at the tunnel Richard had pointed out before. My lady, why are we going this way? But old residences usually have 1 or 2 secret passages. Ah, there's a door up ahead, my lady. Phew, we're finally outside. Are you tired or hungry, my lady? I'm fine. Don't you feel like we just had an adventure? Let's rest for a bit. They will start searching as soon as they find out I've disappeared from the ducal residence. So we need to hurry. Don't worry too much, and we'll take a carriage after we pass through the forest. We can rest then. Yes, ma'am. I've finally left this place. Elisa turned her head to look back at the residence and said, goodbye, Richard. After a long journey, Elisa finally arrived at a rest stop. In front of her was a group of people busy moving goods. Elisa wondered, is this the Ader Merchant Guild? Someone saw her and came over to ask, hello, you two. What brings you here? I came to retrieve my belongings. Elisa presented a letter. Ah, yes, I will call the manager right away. I'm sorry for being late. It's a pleasure to meet you, my lady. I am a manager of the Ader Merchant Guild branch. We will prepare what you need right away. You've had a long journey. Would you like some snacks? If it's not too much trouble, thank you. Please, this way. Thank you. The travel fee will be sent over as soon as the meal is finished. Clothes and necessities will also be loaded onto the carriage, and I will also hire a coachman. All right, please let me know if there is anything else you need, my lady. There's plenty of food here, so please eat before you travel. Thank you for your concern. I'll see you all later. I don't really feel like eating, but it looks so delicious. As she was about to eat, Elisa felt a sharp pain in her stomach. It hurts so much. My lady, are you all right? Maybe the medicine you gave me isn't working. I don't feel very well. Don't worry about me. Yes, I will eat a lot to take care of you, my lady. A moment later, I apologize if the food was not to your liking, my lady. No, it was delicious. The carriage is ready. Would you like to leave now? Let's go. Just as Elisa stood up, the pain returned. She staggered and fainted, and jumped up and called out, my lady. Oh my God, is the lady all right? We have a big problem. You should rest until you feel better. But they'll find us. The manager said, I have an idea. The scene changes to a forest where Richard is chasing a man. Let's get out of here before Duke Rublin attacks. If you get out of this place, you'll reach the forest, and after leaving the forest, you'll be out of here. My carriage will be waiting there. There it is, just a little further. Wait, this wind. From a tree, Richard said. Viscount Muha, where's the Viscount going so early in the morning? Damn it, was he already here? He replied, what is the Duke doing in a place like this? You know better than anyone, don't you? With just a few basic moves, Richard took him down. Forgive me. If the Viscount wants to leave this place, tell me everything. Yes, I'll tell you everything I know. You were the one who entered the contaminated land, weren't you? Yes, I was there, but I didn't go in. Then who went in? At that moment, Richard realized there was an attacker from behind. Richard immediately turned to defend himself. How dare those guys attack me? But Richard was mistaken. They were jumping to attack Viscount Muha. Are they attacking me or the Viscount? Richard was about to lunge forward when a pain shot through him. Ah, my wound. Richard raised his hand, thinking they should stop. Immediately, a stream of black energy flew out, wrapped around those men, and quickly eliminated them all. Richard was horrified. Black magic. It can't be, did I just kill them? How? Just then, Thompson ran up breathlessly to report, Your Grace. Something terrible has happened. What is it? The Duchess has disappeared. What? At the Holy Temple. A person entered and said, Your Holiness, it is time for morning prayers. Is it time already? I didn't notice. Let's go. This person was Pope Aiden Sorayos. He was the last surviving member of the Sorayos family, so he was now the master of the Holy Temple. The Sorayos family, from which the popes originated, has an extremely profound history. The one who possesses the strongest divine power becomes the pope and serves God. Following God's will, generations of popes built the Holy Temple in the suburbs where the poor lived, and they always kept its doors open so that God could come at any time. The imperial family was wary of the expansion of the Sorayos family's power. But the power of the Sorayos family was strengthened by the faith of the empire's people. Pope Aiden Sorayos clasped his hands and prayed, I will complete the morning prayer in the presence of God's followers. Suddenly, he saw a dark vision and opened his eyes with a start. Pope Aiden Sorayos looked up and wondered what just happened. Seeing this, Pastor Cielica asked worriedly, Your Holiness, is something wrong? Pope Aiden Sorayos lowered his head grimly and said, Pastor Cielica, could you call Priest Paladin here? At the residence where Elisa was staying, as Elisa stretched and sat up and asked, My lady, how are you feeling? I feel much better. And let out a sigh of relief. Thank God. Your fever suddenly got worse over the past few days. I was afraid something had happened to you, my lady. It seems you were very worried about me. I'm sorry for making you worry. Are you hungry, my lady? I'll bring some food up for you. All right, and please call for Miss Idle as well. Yes, ma'am. For days ago, when the manager witnessed Elisa's fever, she had directed Elisa to a small residence. Seidel was the doctor of that residence and had been treating Elisa. At this time, Seidel also came to examine Elisa. Elisa thought to herself, if I've decided to leave, then both the baby and I must be safe. Seidel said, It seems the baby is doing very well. You can leave this place, my lady. However, I think you should rest for a few more days. I understand. Just then, a voice called from outside, my lady. Seeing and looking worried, she asked, What is it, Anne? Well, a noble lady has come looking for you. Elisa repeated in confusion. A noble lady? At that moment, a trembling woman was waiting outside. Elisa went out and said, Hello, madam. I heard you wanted to see me about something serious? She replied, Hello, my lady. I apologize for coming here so suddenly. May I have a moment of your time? Yes, of course. What is it? You brought a doctor with you, didn't you, my lady? Yes, my lady. Please help me. My daughter is sick. Her fever started last night. If you don't mind, may I borrow your doctor? The knight said, The nearest village is nearby, but when we got there, the village doctor had gone to the next village to deal with an infectious disease. So we came here despite our rudeness. Elisa was startled and thought it would be extremely dangerous to bring a child who is already in serious condition to a village with many sick people. Perhaps they heard that a noble was staying here. Nobles often come here to rest, but I'm not sure if that will work. It seems they rushed here with many people. Look at the mother's trembling state. Elisa replied, Of course you can. Where is your child, madam? The child is in the carriage outside. Take me there. Thank you, my lady. Thank you so much. After the child was examined, she became more stable. The mother said, I don't know how to thank you, my lady. Thank you for saving my daughter. I've been so rude. I still don't know your name, my lady. Elisa giggled and thought, I'm about to leave, so I shouldn't let others know my real name. Then she replied, My name is Elisa the It. I am Olivia Beatane. Hearing that, Elisa froze. Beatane? If it's Beatane, it could be the house of Marquis Beatane, where the current emperor's half-sister married into. If so, Elisa immediately asked, Madam, are you a princess? I just arrived here, so I didn't recognize you. Olivia Beatane replied, I understand, but I heard that you didn't come here alone, my lady. Thank you so much for helping me. It's nothing. I'm sure anyone in that situation would have done the same. Olivia Beatane asked again, But where is your husband, my lady? Didn't your husband come with you? Elisa replied shyly, we are about to get a divorce. But the truth was she was running away alone. Olivia Beatane seemed agitated. A divorce? Why? I can only tell you that much, madam. Olivia Beatane's eyes fell. Then she took off the necklace from her neck and said, A long time ago, I had a very close friend. She came to me when she was pregnant, but at that time I had no time, so I couldn't take care of her. If I had known that was the last time she would appear, it has always been stuck in my mind. Lady Elisa reminds me of that friend, because you are very beautiful, smart, and very lovely. If you ever need help, my lady, the Beatane family will always welcome you. Thank you, madam. Elsewhere, Richard was aggressively leading his men to find Elisa. Aguil thought to himself, It's fortunate that we found the person who gave the madam a carriage ride. Yes, she went to the exchange area of the Ader Merchant Guild. If we hadn't found her, he probably would have killed someone that day. Before Richard went in, Thompson reminded him, Duke, please wait a moment, although this is not a matter I can participate in discussing. But no matter what happens, if you meet the madam, you must admit you were wrong first. Because putting your wife first is the secret to a long life. And the madam is always right, isn't she? Aguil added, You're being too blunt, Knight Thompson. But it's quite true. So no matter what happens, admit you were wrong to the madam first. As Richard entered, a servant welcomed him warmly. The smile immediately vanished upon hearing Richard's demand. I want to speak with the manager right now. The servant stammered, Right now? I'll go get the manager. Just then, the manager arrived. It's an honor to meet you, Duke Rebellin. How may I help you? Richard said, I need to find someone. Have you seen a woman with blonde hair and blue eyes before? Upon hearing this, she seemed to recognize the description, but replied, I'm sorry. I deal with a great many people every day, so it's difficult for me to remember everyone's face. Richard proposed, I would like a look around here. May I? Of course, Duke. She thought, if I refuse, he'll make this place disappear. Richard impatiently ordered, find her. Yes, Duke. After that, the knights began to search everywhere. Richard thought to himself, Elisa, how can I be happy without you? He recalled the letter Elisa had left before. Richard, no matter what happens, I will always wish for your happiness with all my heart. Elisa, after all this, how long do you intend to torment my heart? Just then, Thompson came to report, Duke, we have searched everywhere, but could not find the madam. He wondered with a headache, why do you always run away from me, Elisa? Suddenly, someone came in and called out, Duke, this is a letter that was sent 2 days ago. I found it this morning and brought it here, because it has the madam's name on it. Richard opened it and thought, what? A handwritten letter from Elisa. After reading the letter, he immediately called out, Thompson. Yes, Duke, leave his place immediately. Meanwhile, Elisa was leaving in a carriage. Finally, I can leave the Empire. Lady Bellatana was worried about me until the moment I left. If my mother were still alive, would she have taken care of me like Lady Bellatana? And looked at Elisa with a worried expression. Why hasn't he arrived yet? I'm sure I sent the letter saying that I would be leaving the residence with the madam. On that day, I realized just how useless I was. The madam and even the little Duke were in danger. But I couldn't do anything but stand by the madam's side. If that were to happen again. Just then, Elisa said, it's really lucky, isn't it? This sentence broke his train of thought and replied with a start, huh? Yes. Elisa continued, because we can get to Sereni by boat. It will be much faster. Yes. I heard that traveling by carriage could take at least a month. So I was really worried, but thanks to the residence's manager, we can travel faster. After we get to Sereni, I'll buy her a gift. Yes. At that moment, at a port, Elisa said, finally, we're leaving the Empire. We're taking a sailboat, right? That's right. Since I have health problems, I want to rest in a private room. Yes, let's get on the boat and find a place to rest. All right, and remember to hold on to the boarding passes. N's eyes sank with worry again. A moment later on the boat, Elisa was lost in thought. No matter how tired I am, I still can't sleep. It's so uncomfortable. Elisa went outside and looked in the direction of the Empire. She suddenly felt a churning in her heart. When will I be able to return to that place? When will we be able to meet again? We were together for less than a year. But why is Richard's image so clear in my mind? I bought this brooch at a souvenir shop. Will it be okay? Right at that moment, Elisa felt a strong gust of wind. This wind. Looking up, she saw Richard floating in the air. She silently called out to Richard. As soon as Richard landed, he said, "If you keep running away like this, do you think I can't find you?" Elisa was speechless and wondered, "Warehouse, why is Richard here?" He came closer and asked, "Where are you planning to run to? With my child?" How did Richard know about this? He hugged her tightly and whispered, "You're pregnant. You can't go anywhere, Elisa, even if you run to the ends of the earth." I'm sorry, Elisa. Let's go inside the room and talk first." As she opened the door and asked, "Madam, where are you going at this hour?" and stopped short when she saw Richard standing behind Elisa. She replied, "I was just taking a little walk." "Elisa, I'll step out for a moment and be right back." Inside the room, Elisa finally breathed a sigh of relief. She wondered, why did Richard know and come here? Suddenly, and knelt down and said, "I'm sorry, madam. I sent a letter to the Duke when you had a high fever. I was afraid something bad would happen. I thought I could do everything for you when you were sick, but I couldn't do anything because I have no power." At that moment, I heard you call Richard's name. When I heard that name, I thought of this. Send this to the Rebellin family. If the Duke is here, everything will be resolved. So I sent a letter to the Duke. I'm truly sorry for breaking my promise to you, madam, because I was afraid I would lose both you and the little Duke. Elisa didn't blame her, but sat down and comforted her. That was your best choice. But just this once, okay? Next time, please discuss it with me first. Yes, yes. Elisa hugged the sobbing and feeling relieved. How strange. In the end, the escape plan went down the drain. But I feel lucky. I was so surprised to see Richard. But I was truly so happy and I missed him. Honestly, I was worried he would kill the child, so I ran away. Just then, Richard opened the door and asked, "Elisa, can we talk now? And please step outside for a bit." "Yes, madam." As soon as I was outside, Richard asked, "Why didn't you tell me you were pregnant?" "Because it seemed like you didn't want this baby." Richard was stunned to hear that. "What?" Elisa continued, "I accidentally overheard the conversation between you and Aaron. It was probably that conversation." Richard recalled Elisa once asking, "So, have you ever thought about having children?" "I see. That's why Elisa suddenly talked about children. I will take the child to a place no one knows and raise them well." "So," Richard immediately interrupted, "it's not that I hate children. I'm sorry. I was wrong, Elisa. I should have cared for you more. It was I who made you misunderstand. I didn't mean that when I was talking to Aaron. So don't run away from me anymore." Elisa thought to herself, so it wasn't because he hates children? If that's the case, we can live happily together. This is so different from the original novel. All right, so many things have changed. Now Hannes won't be sad like in the original novel anymore, because Richard and I will live happily together. So now I shouldn't be obsessed with the original novel anymore. I'm sorry, Elisa. I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. Hearing Richard's apology, Elisa burst into tears and cried even louder. Then Ague said, "He's really amazing. Recalling earlier, double all the cost of the losses, then send them to the Rebellin house. Find the nearest port and dock for me." Yes. He used a merchant's private ship. Richard asked, "Has the carriage arrived?" "It has arrived, sir." Thompson said, "My lady, you should stay in Rebellin." "That's right. He's really not good at managing the territory. I'm sorry for making everyone worry." He walked over, put his arm around her shoulder, and said, "Then let's go back." "Yes, let's return to our home." "Welcome back, my lady. I'm sorry for making everyone worry. It's very cold outside now. My lady and the Duke should hurry inside. We will prepare food immediately." Soon after, a lavish table of food was laid out. "Enjoy your meal, my lady." Elisa sat before the table of food, breaking out in a sweat. "I took the anti-nausea medicine, but I still feel unwell." Seeing this, Richard became worried. "Elisa, are you all right?" "I'm fine." As soon as she finished speaking, Elisa felt the urge to vomit. She quickly covered her mouth and turned away, and quickly brought over a basin. "My lady here." "My lady, are you all right?" Feeling pained, Richard came over and hugged Elisa. Was she planning to suffer like this all alone? I'm truly sorry, Elisa. I'm fine, Richard. You go ahead and eat. I'll go to my room and rest first. With that, Elisa was helped to her room by and to rest. Thompson came and said, Your Grace, from now on, you should become her ladyship's strength. Also, have you said things like congratulations or I'm so happy for you, my lady? I'm not in the mood to say that. No, you must say that when the lady is pregnant. Why would you know? You're not even married. That's because I have been ready for such things. And it has taken me 27 years to prepare for this. In short, there's one thing you need to do. What is it? The thing is, you'll find out what it is later, kids. A while later, a tired Elisa pushed open the door to her room. I'm so tired, I should go to bed early. But then her gaze froze when she saw the scene before her. Fresh flowers were scattered all over the room. At the same time, Richard walked in holding a bouquet of flowers, calling for Elisa. He said, Congratulations on becoming a mother. Although I'm still inexperienced, I will work hard to become a good father. Ah, thank you. Ahem. Also, I heard that it's very good for the baby if the parents sleep together. So I think for now on we will sleep together. Elisa wondered, I've never heard of that before. Is that really true? Then she shyly turned her face away and replied, Yes, let's do that. Great, you seem tired. Let's go to sleep. Suddenly Elisa called out, Richard, do you want to touch the baby? Can I really? Of course. Our baby is right here. The baby is very small right now, so you won't be able to feel anything. He touched Elisa's belly. Welcome to the world, my little one. We'll meet you soon, my baby. As a result, that night Elisa had a good night's sleep next to Richard. The next morning, she groggily opened her eyes and thought, why is my pillow so big? And it can't breathe? Then her face turned bright red. Oh my God, a blurry chest is right in front of me. Seeing Richard sleeping soundly beside her, she chuckled to herself. Just seeing this face every day, I won't need any prenatal education. Suddenly, Richard opened his eyes and looked at her. Startled, Elisa asked, Did you sleep well? He gently caressed Elisa's face and said, Good morning. Then he suddenly said, Wait. Elisa. He hastily pulled the cord to call for someone and came in and asked, You called for me, Your Grace? Call the doctor immediately. It seems Elisa has a fever. Elisa immediately waved her hand. I'm fine. This is just a mild fever that I get often. Often? Elisa replied, All pregnant women will experience fevers like this throughout their pregnancy. Hearing that, Richard was stunned and thought, I'll need to go to the library and find some books about this. Elisa then instructed, and bring breakfast here. Bring some for me too. Yes, I understand. Oh, wait. Elisa turned back to see Richard leaning down. Good morning, Daddy's little one. Hey, little one, your mommy is about to have breakfast. Don't be a picky eater, okay? Elisa, come here. Elisa blushed at Richard's attentiveness. My moed is so strong. I feel like Richard and I have become a family. Right after that, and brought the food. Here you are, my lady. Thank you. And on the other side, Richard lifted a piece of pastry to his mouth. As soon as he took a bite, his face changed color, and he hurriedly dropped the pastry and ran off. Elisa called out in alarm. Richard, Richard. A moment later, Dr. Morris said with a bright smile, This is a sympathetic pregnancy. Haha, the Duke must love the Duchess very much, right? That's right. AGU asked again, what about the Duke's shoulder? There's nothing to be concerned about. It's not a pain caused by an injury. It might just be inflammation. It's unclear what action of the Duke caused the pain to recur. It might be due to my emotions. The pain is worse when Elisa is not by my side. This isn't just excessive worry for the Duchess, is it? Morris explained, The Duchess is not something that can alleviate the pain, sir. The Duchess does not possess healing or purification powers. This is just a physical effect. Please inform me if the Duke has any other symptoms. All right, don't tell Elisa about this. Yes, Your Grace. The Duchess has already gone to the dining room. Then let's go to the dining room. We have prepared a lot of food according to both of your preferences. Please enjoy your meal. Richard sat down at the table and glanced around. Have you eaten already? No, I just got here. Are you feeling better? I feel better. What's the situation with Viscount Lojas? We captured him alive, but he refuses to give up any information. If we interrogate him today and still can't resolve it, we will release him. Then Marquis Felgen will. Richard stopped there and looked at Elisa. Then he continued, it's nothing. Elisa wondered, why is he looking at me like that? She asked, why don't we protect the Viscount this time? From what I know, Viscount Lojas has been cooperating with Marquis Felgen for a while. but the Marquis only does odd jobs for profit, so there is no contract between them. That also means their relationship can be easily broken. First, we will set the Viscount free and save him when he is at death's door. At that point, he will realize that Marquis Felgen has completely betrayed him. Everything will be easier to resolve then. But Viscount Lohas is still very valuable. The longer he works with the Marquis, the more important information he knows. Wouldn't it be to our advantage if the Viscount was on our side? You're right. I'll do that. Things men must remember when getting married. 1. The wife is always right. 2. If the wife is wrong, refer to Rule 1. Scene change. At this moment, Pope Aiden Sirios is performing a ritual. It is a great honor to see the flowers bloom in spring. At this moment, a person approached and said, "Excuse me, Sir Alex, what is it? I have checked the neighbor you mentioned, but I couldn't find anything suspicious." I understand. Suddenly, Alex shot up with determination. "I will expand the search area." "No, that's enough. Thank you, Sir Alex. You must be tired. Please go rest. We will stand guard tomorrow." Alex knelt down again. "Yes, I understand." As soon as Alex left, Pope Aiden Sirios thought to himself, "Have I been worrying too much?" Just then, someone else approached and said, "What makes you sigh? It's been a long time." A moment later, "I see. You really resemble Her Highness." "You too. You haven't changed at all." Olivia Beltane looked at Aiden and thought, "He's still wearing that ring." She calmly mentioned Zamlia. Aiden, Zamlia, and Oliver were close friends. Although they were orphans and commoners, Zamlia always cared for them. Her heart influenced the two of them, so they became close friends. At that time, Aiden and Zamlia fell in love, and they got married, and Olivia blessed their future. However, contrary to that blessing, an unexpected incident occurred. More than 20 years ago, the royal family began to target the Sirios family. Friction between the temple and the royal family occurred frequently. In the end, an accident happened at the canyon. Aiden, the Pope, and the temple master went to the canyon and stopped it. He was attacked by a strange man and fell into an impure ritual. At that same time, the former emperor was poisoned. The current emperor, Joan, exiled his half-brother and seized the throne for himself. As a result, Aiden's wife, Zamlia, participated in the rebellion. She had to flee in order not to be killed. When Aiden miraculously woke up, everything had become chaotic. According to his brother's vow, they could not be destroyed, but the family was devastated from within. His wife, Zamlia, disappeared after participating in the rebellion. Aiden wandered around looking for Zamlia, but contrary to his wishes, Zamlia had become a cold corpse. When my brother was exiled and entrapped, I still hated the emperor very much. Aiden, you must have endured a lot to not leave this empire. As expected, Zamlia couldn't abandon the people she loved. Aiden asked, "Did you come to pray today?" Olivia replied, "I came for my family." No. Today I came here to pray for a new friend. Right now at the new mansion, Ansel is waiting. Elisa is coming soon. From behind, someone said, "Finally, this villa has a visitor. This is the first time I've seen someone else come to this place." Ansel turned around and said, "It seems you have lived here for a very long time, haven't you?" "I have lived here for almost a lifetime to take care of the sick." "I see virtue on your face. It seems you're a doctor." "I wasn't born here, but this is my country. It's a beautiful place, isn't it? My friend will be living in this mansion soon." Is it the person from the nearby village?" She is the only daughter of Viscount Lohengrin, who previously owned this mansion. Suddenly, he panicked, dropping his entire basket. "So you said she's the only daughter of Viscount Lohengrin? How is that possible?" "Yes, is something wrong?" "Lady Elisa, it's been 8 years." He said, "Lady Elisa passed away from a lung disease." Ansel, surprised, asked what? Elsewhere, Elisa was feeling awkward. What should I say to Ansel? He must be waiting for me in Sereni. Although I did ask the coachman to send that letter. I'll apologize to Ansel when he returns. Seeing her dazed, Richard came over and asked, "Elisa, what are you thinking about?" It's nothing. I'm just finishing my work." "You haven't eaten anything this morning. You should get some rest." At this moment, the butler entered and called, "Duke, madam." "What is it?" "There is a letter from the royal palace. This is a hunting invitation. I will participate, but the Duchess's health is not good, so she will not be able to come." Elisa thought for a moment, then said, "Grayson, ignore what Richard said. I will participate." "Elisa, you should rest more at home." "No, I will go." After the Emperor seizes the power of House Rebellin, he will target the child. Compared to preparing our strength beforehand, it will be easier if the cause is cut off. Because I have no intention of staying home, I think it's time to show them everything. She said, "Let them witness how House Rebellin has changed after 8 years. If you think so, then let's start preparing now." Wait, what? Prepare for the hunting festival. That night, Elisa lay in bed, laughing with delight. Ha ha ha, this day has finally come. I can't believe I visited all the clothing stores during the preparation time. Richard and I also bought many things for the mansion. Even so, shopping with Richard was really fun. You've come? Elisa, why aren't you asleep yet? You're tired. She replied, the hunting festival is the first festival you and I have attended since the war. I have a few outfits for you to wear to the hunting festival. Come here and try them on. Elisa planned to dress him up in a style she liked. She said, tomorrow, you can wear any suit you like. I understand, Richard said as he took off his coat. Elisa was startled and yelled, what are you doing? I'm taking off my clothes to try on the new ones. Even so, don't just take off your clothes anywhere like that, okay? Anywhere. This is our bedroom, and you're my wife. But, right? She was speaking but stopped when she saw his back. Oh my God, his back has so many scars. She couldn't help but walk over and touch it. Why do you have so many scars? Does it hurt? I don't remember anymore. You should take better care of yourself. You don't have to worry. I'm a father now. I have you and our child. So if anything happens, don't keep it to yourself. If you're in pain, just let me know. Okay, I will. On the day of the hunting festival, whenever a royal event was held, all the noble ladies would dress up beautifully, because it was a measure of wealth and a way to show everyone how much they were loved by their husbands. Oh my God, isn't this the most fashionable necklace model right now? Oh, that's right. Your dress is so beautiful, my lady. Soon after, all attention turned to the approaching carriage. Is that the carriage of House Rebellin? Michaela thought to herself, Rebellin, they never show themselves. Why are they showing up now? Oh my God, it's them. House Rebellin has arrived. This is the first time they have officially shown themselves. They have always lived quietly on this continent. She seems very happy to see her husband return, doesn't she? That's right. The door opened, and Richard slowly appeared. Seeing the way Richard helped Elisa out of the carriage, they exclaimed, oh my, now I know how much the Duke loves the Duchess. Miguel, seeing this, was furious. She is the daughter of a Viscount's family. Is she arrogant now because she has a good husband? The two happily walked in arm, ignoring the many envious gazes of others. Elisa, let's go. Yes. As they were walking in, someone called out, Elisa, this voice, Marchioness Beltane. Seeing Olivia's surprised expression, Elisa thought to herself, that's right. I told her I was going to leave the Empire. I thought we wouldn't meet again, so I hid it from her, but everything has changed since then. Elisa was about to explain, Madam, this matter, but was interrupted by the arrival of the Emperor's carriage. Madam, I will tell you everything later. I understand. Greetings to the light of Arankia. It is a pleasure to see everyone after being busy with court affairs. Christian looked at the two and said, it's a pleasure to see you, my old friend. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Elisa immediately felt uncomfortable. What? Is that sarcasm? Then she looked around, searching. Hasn't Ansel come yet? I don't see him anywhere. Is something wrong? Are you feeling dizzy or tired? Yes, I'm fine. If you feel tired, just go back to the carriage and rest. All right, you don't need to worry about me. At this moment, Olivia came over and said, Elisa's husband is Duke Rebellin. Marchioness, I almost took his place. Richard asked, took my place? What do you mean? Oh, don't misunderstand me. I wanted her to be my daughter-in-law. Previously, the Duchess helped me. I thought you two were divorced, so I wanted to matchmake my son with her. Hearing the announcement horn, Olivia said, it seems the hunt has begun. Good luck, Richard. I'll be back soon. As soon as Richard left, Elisa said, Madam, I am very sorry for lying about my identity. When I left the mansion, I did not intend to reveal my true identity. It's all right, Lady Elisa. Oh no, Duchess, you don't need to apologize. It's that husband of yours' fault for letting you leave home. It's not his fault. There were some misunderstandings between us. Really? So it wasn't because of his personality? Then why did you leave while you still love him? Elisa thought blankly, loves me? Richard? No way. It would be easy to understand if she took my side in that case. It's really not like that. There was a misunderstanding between us. I'm very glad that you two have reconciled now. Being pregnant is not an easy thing, but you have your husband by your side, now that you two have resolved all misunderstandings. Then let's go now. All right, at the hunting ground. Here is the prize. Your talent is getting more and more formidable, Your Highness. Many enemies will die under your arrows. Richard stood behind and sighed. I hope he doesn't shoot like that on a battlefield. Instead of fighting bravely, he always runs away and bothers everyone. He even caused the knights to argue and left the battlefield earlier than everyone else. I decided not to participate in this hunt to please the royal family. Should I go back? Princess Miguel's expression was quite unusual. Richard was worrying about Elisa when Christian turned around and said, "Our great war hero has arrived. Is our hero tired from fighting against stupid beasts?" He replied, "I've been on the battlefield a lot, so I have no interest in these beasts. Just like your highness, right?" Christian frowned and cursed under his breath, "This bastard." Richard turned to leave and said, "I'm a little tired, so I'll be heading back." Christian's face darkened, trembling intermittently. "Since when did you become so arrogant?" Richard rebelling. As Richard was leaving, someone said, "I almost didn't recognize you." "I almost didn't recognize you," Duke rebelling. Richard turned back, saw Marquis pause, and continued walking. The man spoke again. "Oh my, you still don't like me even now? But I hope you're not having too hard a time. Everything I have done was for you, Duke. Putting everyone in danger, that was for me? It's a bit hard to believe, but if you say such things again, I will sew your mouth shut. Remember my words. Although it's a bit hard to believe, it is the truth." With that said, he turned his back and left. Marquis Pauls watched and said to himself, "You will know soon enough. It is all for you." At the ladies' tea party, the Empress said, "I am very happy that everyone took the time to come here. I have prepared a special tea for all of you. Please enjoy it." "Oh my, the taste of this tea is so good. I wonder what kind of tea this is." "That's right, the petals floating on top are extremely beautiful. It is made from teca petals, which are only grown on the cliffs of the eastern coast. Because these are precious flowers, it is very difficult to obtain them." Elisa thought to herself, "She's showing off that you all can drink a tea that I don't dare to. It would be nice if I could enjoy this kind of tea too." Elisa recalled the doctor's advice. "You may experience morning sickness, depending on your condition, even after taking the medicine. Don't put too much faith in the medicine. I'm afraid I'll get morning sickness if I drink the tea. I can't hide my pregnancy forever, but this isn't the right time to announce it, so I need to be careful." The Empress said, "It's been a while, hasn't it, Marchioness Beltane? It's a shame we don't see each other more often. I've been very busy raising my daughter, so I haven't had time to chat, but I'm very glad that your Majesty is still well. We are not strangers. It's disappointing that you visit the temple instead of the imperial palace. I just found someone who is in great need of my help, so your Majesty shouldn't be too sad." Hearing the mention of the temple, Elisa turned to look. 20 years ago, after Marchioness Arreos was discovered to be plotting treason, the imperial palace and the temple became more hostile towards each other. Of course, the temple at that time had more influence than the imperial family. They had no choice but to establish a relationship with the temple. I need to dig deeper into this and build a good relationship with the temple. Anyway, the reason I'm attending the hunting festival is to show them that the House of Rebellion is still intact and has many people on its side. It would be great if I could get the temple on my side. Suddenly, Elisa pulled her hand back, knocking over a teacup, and asked worriedly, "My lady, are you all right?" "The tea has cooled, so I'm fine. Even so, I still have to wipe it up." Rophilius, sitting opposite, said, "I can't believe you buy things for your servants." So the Duke wasn't wrong when he said your house still has a lot of money. Elisa smiled upon hearing this. "I've been waiting for this moment." Then she replied brightly, "Soon, when spring comes, I will buy them to repay those who have worked hard for the House of Rebellion. A good gift will be a great motivation." After all, the main characters of the hunting festival are the imperial family. The spotlight will follow them no matter what they wear. In this case, it's better to let the maids and knights stand out. They worked in a place that treats them very well. Ordinary nobles won't sense that intention. They look so extravagant. But talented people will serve the nobility with all their hearts. If today's festival becomes famous, many talented people will come, because anyone who wants to work in this place wants to be treated well. That's how to make money. I will turn the tables. My lady, do you need anything? I'm fine. Elisa then said, "Yes, we recently found a luminous stone mine in the southwest of our territory." Someone said, "Ah, that's right, I've heard about it. I heard the mine is very large. Do you have plans to expand the business with the luminous stones, my lady?" Of course, those who are not interested in this story are the ones without economic power. In contrast, those who are interested in this story are the ones with financial power. I'm thinking of looking for another family to partner with. If you're looking for a family to partner with, my lady, then my family. The smooth conversation was interrupted by the Empress clearing her throat. She said irritably, "It would be nice if the topic of conversation was one we could all share." The atmosphere became awkward after that remark. Elisa thought to herself, "She must have been in a very bad mood ever since I talked about her showing off her money." Talking about partnerships here will be very difficult. Their eyes showed that they wanted to talk. I'm sure they will contact me soon. To break the atmosphere, Rophilius clapped her hands and said, I have something I'd like the ladies here to enjoy. It's a small thing, but I hope the ladies here will be happy. My baker is very good at making brownies. Oh, it looks so delicious. In contrast to the excitement of the others, Elisa turned pale from the buttery smell of the cake. Please, everyone, enjoy. Elisa tried to calm herself. No, if I throw up here, I'll definitely be caught. Elisa's trembling hand gripped her dress tightly, trying to endure it. But finally, she stood up. Excuse me, Duchess. I'm so dizzy. Just as Elisa felt faint, a hand supported her. Excuse me, I greatly appreciate everyone's kindness, but my wife has just recovered from an illness. As he said this, he swept Elisa up into his arms. So I don't think it would be good for my wife to eat it. Elisa turned back worriedly and called, Richard. He replied, don't worry anymore. We'll be taking our leave now. Rose's face twisted as she saw Elisa being carried away like that. A moment later, are you okay, Elisa? Yes, I'm fine. You look like you were about to throw up. Eat this. He held out 2 pieces of candy. Elisa thought, moved, a person like Richard who hates sweets is carrying candy with him? Is he having morning sickness too? Is that right? Are you okay now? Can you walk? I'm much better now. How is the hunting festival? Why are you here? Well, no one cares about my hunting skills. Really? That's right. That's right. The conversation was interrupted by the appearance of Christian. I was wondering why my friend wasn't participating in the hunt. Turns out my friend is just hovering around his wife like a fool. He thought he ignored me at the hunting festival, but he's worried about that woman? I want to tease him even more. Our Duke is worried about his wife, isn't he? But there's a rumor that you two have never slept together. If that's the case, this marriage is meaningless, isn't it? Elisa replied, oh my, if our little baby heard those words, it would surely be very sad. The crowd gasped, be a baby? Elisa laughed loudly. It's a little embarrassing to talk about this with you, Your Highness, but after that romantic night where he kept me busy until morning, I became pregnant. Won't you congratulate us, Your Highness? Huh? What? I'm a little tired. Let's go back to the carriage. Excuse us. Christian stood frozen for a few seconds. That bastard has an heir before me? The men behind him whispered. Just one night? He was on the battlefield for 7 years. But Your Highness. Christian heard them and snapped. Shut your mouths. After walking a short distance, Elisa said they're so arrogant. Richard blushed and asked, you really said it? I'm sorry for telling them, but when I heard those words, I couldn't hold back. Besides, it's not a lie. Hearing this, Richard chuckled. Richard, did I say something wrong? No, you did well. That night at the Rebellion residence, while Elisa was fast asleep, a servant came in to report. Duke, there's a letter from Viscount Adon. Richard was visibly annoyed. He's Elisa's friend, but that's just what Elisa thinks. He gets too close to Elisa and is always talking about her. Although I really want to burn this letter. If I do, Elisa will be very sad. At this moment, Elisa also woke up. Richard immediately handed her the letter. Elisa, you have a letter. A letter? Elisa read the letter and said, Wunsel, it seems he has arrived in the Empire. The letter read, Elisa, I need to talk to you. Are you free tomorrow afternoon? She wondered what's wrong. The next day, Agru reported on his work. The luminous stone mine was found not long ago. Viscount Helios has placed an order for the handicraft business. Seeing Richard looking distracted, Agru called out, Duke, are you listening? I said that Viscount Helios wants to do business with the luminous stones. Should we reply? Duke, give me some time to think. He thought jealously. All right, stop thinking nonsense. Elisa and here just friends. He went to the room and opened the door and was surprised to see Elisa. What's wrong, Richard? Elisa ran over excitedly and said, Richard, but was interrupted by him. Can you change into a different dress? Elisa froze and asked, why? Isn't it pretty? That's right. It's not pretty at all. I don't want Wunsel to see Elisa looking so beautiful. Even if this childish emotion is called jealousy, I can't help it. Anyone who sees her would fall for her because she's so beautiful. Elisa asked, it's not pretty? That outfit is too plain. You should change into something else. Suddenly, 2 streams of tears flowed from Elisa's eyes. Richard was stunned. You're crying? Why? Why would you say that? You just needed to say it suits me or that it's pretty. Elisa, listen to me first. Anyway, you can't wear clothes that show your belly. She screamed. I want to wear it now. It's not like that, really. At this time, Richard didn't know. Because of pregnancy hormones, the emotions of pregnant women. After an outburst of tears due to hormones, their mood will improve quickly. I predict she will become melancholic. They can easily become emotionally unbalanced, contrary to their true feelings. I will remember the painful feelings I experienced during this pregnancy for the rest of my life. Richard tried his best to explain. It's because I was jealous. You were jealous, but why would you say that to me? Elisa, forget it. I don't want to hear it. Then pushed him outside, slamming the door shut. Elisa, I'm sorry I was wrong. This fool. Why did I show Elisa I was jealous in that way? I acted too childishly. Elisa is the one who's tired since she got pregnant right away. Elisa sat in the room listening to Richard's voice. I'm sorry, Elisa. Have a good time talking with Wunsel and then come back. After hearing Richard's footsteps leave, she said to the maid, let's finish getting ready. Yes, my lady. Sigh. This isn't something worth crying over. Why do my tears keep falling? Is everything like this when you're pregnant? Ankle said, I can't understand him. It's so beautiful. So why would he say it doesn't suit you? Exactly. Even if it didn't suit you, he should have said it did. He definitely doesn't know about recent fashion trends. That's right. So don't pay too much attention to his words, my lady. Thank you for getting angry on my behalf, but I think I might have overreacted a bit. Even so, I acted like a child. He can just say honestly what he sees. Not all, my lady. The problem is that he upset his pregnant wife in the first place. That's right. And at this time, they say that because of the child, you can't control your emotions. My cousin who married early was just like that. Is that so? That's right. This child wasn't made by me alone. We made it together. Of course, he didn't mean it, but anyway, Richard is the baby's father now. I'm ready, my lady. Thank you, both of you. Then shall we go to the flower garden now? Yes, my lady. She glanced around, thinking to herself. As expected, he's gone back to his office. Then turned and said, let's go. At this moment, outside. It's been a while. You've grown up so much since I last saw you. Long time no see, Grayson. You're still the same as ever, whether in the past or now. Haha. After becoming a businessman, you've become quite the flatterer. The lady is waiting for you. This way, please. Wunsel turned to look upstairs and was surprised to see Richard standing there, staring down coldly. When he was young, he wasn't a gentle person, but after returning from the battlefield, he became even colder. How can Elisa live with a man like that? Could it be that she intended to divorce him, but was caught, so she reluctantly returned to the ducal house? Hello, Wunsel. Long time no see, Elisa. You just arrived in the capital yesterday, right? Yes, I received your letter and set off immediately. You showed me so much concern, but I just sent you a letter and disappeared. I'm truly sorry, Wunsel. That was to repay your goodwill. Whether you accept it or not is up to you. I'm fine, so don't worry about it. Even so, I will keep the villa in order. If you change your mind, just let me know anytime. Thanks, so I have a place to go back to. That's so reassuring. So you're living happily, right? In this marriage. Actually, I don't really know what happiness is. But one thing I'm sure of is that I don't feel unhappy in my life at this ducal residence. Even if I'm not passionately in love with Richard, I can live well with him like an old friend. He seems like a good person, doesn't he? Yes, it's just because he's expressionless. But once you get to know him, he's actually quite innocent. Wunsel recalled Richard's gloomy expression and was secretly surprised. Innocent what? What part of him is innocent? But there are no cookies on the table, are there? You like cookies. I was going to tell you when I reached the stable period, but I'm actually pregnant. What? First of all, congratulations, Elisa. Thanks. But what was it that you wanted to tell me? That. No, it's nothing special. I resolved it. I just came to see you today. I can't tell Elisa about that while she needs to be stable. That what I saw. At Santi's villa, Richard, standing far away, was still watching, frowning to himself. Elisa is hidden by the flower tree. I can't see anything. He glared at the tree and said, if I had known, I would have pulled them all up. A moment later, Richard saw the two of them coming out and sighed in relief. It's finally over. Suddenly, Wunsel took Elisa's hand. Richard was stunned. Huh? Then kissed her hand, smack. See you later, Elisa. Yes, travel safely, Wunsel. Richard clenched his fists. That brat dares to kiss the back of Elisa's hand? Wunsel Adon, you will never be allowed to come to this ducal residence again. Suddenly, Elisa turned and met Richard's eyes. But she immediately turned away, avoiding him. We definitely made eye contact. Why did she look away? As expected, she's angry. So this is the temple. So this is the purifying spring. More than 20 years ago, Pope Aidan, who had returned from the canyon. used all his divine power to create the spring in the temple and the suburbs, to protect the poor and weak from the invasion of monsters. The Pope is truly a great man. Even in the moment he lost his family, he still thought of the weak. Welcome, my lady. What brings you to the temple? Ah, I'm here for an appointment. Could you show me the way to the West Prayer House? It's not far from here. Please follow me. Just go this way. Thank you, Father. I had an appointment with Marchioness Beatane here. That person, it's the Pope. Could it be the person the Marchioness mentioned a few days ago was... You've arrived, Duchess. Elisa was secretly surprised, not expecting that person to be the Pope. After donating to the temple and building a reputation, I plan to approach him slowly. No, I should just see this as an opportunity, since I got to meet the Pope so quickly. Duchess, this is His Holiness the Pope. It's a pleasure to meet you, Your Holiness. I am Elisa Rebellin. Pope, so this is the Duchess Rebellin. I heard the Marchioness had made a new friend, so I wonder what kind of person it was. It turns out she invited a noble person here. It's an honor to meet you, my lady. The honor is all mine to meet you like this. Let's not just stand here, let's go inside. The Duchess said she wanted to see me, right? What is the reason you sought me out? It's nothing special. I would like to make regular donations to the temple. Hearing this, the Pope paused, then said, Please forgive me, but I cannot accept that donation. May I ask the reason? Because I cannot give the lady what she desires. The power I possess is for me and for those who trust and rely on the goddess. Please do not use them. With just one sentence, he immediately guessed my thoughts. The reputation gained through donations would connect to the family's power. If I donate to the temple, which has the people's support, and build a reputation, then Rebellin will receive more support from the people than the imperial family. However, doing so would also drag the temple into a power struggle. The Pope refused the donation to prevent this and to maintain strict neutrality. Even though after the temple clashed with the imperial family, most donations were cut off and the temple's finances are not in good shape. So he just wants to protect his people. A person with such righteous and upright beliefs, I must not carelessly break him. I should change my strategy and then approach him. She said, Your Holiness is absolutely right. I cannot say that I am donating with only a pure heart, but I don't necessarily have to donate to the temple just for that reason. My sincere desire to help others and the benefits I receive are merely overlapping. I heard that many orphans have entered the temple due to the recent war. Won't those children need more support? If you accept Rebellin's donation, the imperial family will also donate due to public perception. If so, other nobles will no longer avoid donating out of fear of the imperial family. Please make use of Rebellin's reputation. The Pope was thinking when someone knocked on the door and said, Your Holiness, it is time for prayer. Excuse me, but I must get up first. Then you two please talk comfortably. At this time, Olivia Beltane said to Elisa, That's just his personality. He's very rigid and stubborn. So please don't be too heartbroken. It's all right. Just as His Holiness the Pope said, the truth is my intentions were very disrespectful. How many people truly donate with a sincere heart? And what the lady said also has a point. I will speak to him again. There's no need. You've already tried enough, my lady. I'll take care of it myself from now on. She thought to herself, I've already prepared another plan, just in case. The next day, I got the Pope's schedule. I need to see him as naturally as possible. I don't intend to approach the temple for political purposes. I just sincerely want to help. Nurturing, protecting, and educating orphans is not an easy task for anyone. Initially, the royal family was responsible for this, but now the temple manages everything. That has been the case for over 20 years. So it's only natural that he is suspicious. Until now, the temple has stood firm thanks to the support of a few loyal nobles and Marchioness Beltane. He is suspicious of the Rebellin family suddenly extending a hand. So I will show him my sincerity. Breaking out of her thoughts, Elisa said, I guess we'll have to wait here. We should stand a little further away to make it look more natural. My lady, what do you think about us standing near the flower bed? That's not a bad idea. While clapping in praise, Elisa stopped short. Is this flower dying? I think they don't take care of it because it's outside the flower bed. The poor thing. My lady, I'll go get some water. It might come back to life if we water it. I'll leave it to you, Anne. Just as Anne turned away, the flower emitted a light and became vibrant and full of life, surprising Elisa. It's come back to life. Padash, Pope. Good afternoon, my lady. What brings you here, my lady? I came here to pray. Ah, I see. I hope that God will listen to your prayers. He didn't ask me what I was praying for. It's time for me to go pray now. He's very cold despite having a very friendly face. But, Your Holiness, I am someone who doesn't know what giving up is. That word is not in my vocabulary. If I fail 10 times, I will continue on the 11th. That evening, she said to Richard, I have to go to the temple tomorrow morning, so I'll have to go to bed early. Richard asked, Elisa, can I read this book? He blushed and continued, I want to read it to our little one. Last night, I went to bed early because I was so embarrassed. I thought he was still very angry. All right, you can read it. Richard immediately said happily, thank you. Little one, your father's going to read you a story today. Richard began to flip through the book and read. In the north of the Paupori forest, there is a dark forest where no one ever goes. A witch, a child, and Lulu live there together. Listening to him read is even funnier than me reading a history book. He reads as stiffly as a board. You're reading too stiffly. You have to change your voice as you read. Ahem, one day, the animals decided to play hide and seek. Tao Tao the little rabbit went into the dark forest to hide, so no one could find him. He's having a harder time reading than I thought. I didn't think Richard would care about the baby this much. He looks extremely cute. She unconsciously raised her hand to stroke Richard's face. Suddenly, he turned to look, making her say awkwardly, Ah, there's a strand of hair on your face. She silently told herself, I must be going crazy. Then she said again, You should read this storybook tomorrow. Why is that? I have to go to the temple tomorrow, so I have to sleep early today. Good night. After being turned away by Pope Aiden, now I'm going to pray. Elisa prayed more actively. Caring for the sick. I came to give you this chocolate. Everyone, please line up. Duchess of Rebellion, it must be difficult for you to do everything by yourself, but every time you do something very precious. Besides, you also bestow a great favor upon the children. Elisa smiled and said, It's nothing at all. It's wonderful to hear that, my lady. Hello, Your Holiness. You came today as well, my lady? That's right. Is it true that Your Holiness doesn't like snacks like chocolate? That's right, but she took out a bag and asked, Can Your Holiness eat it now? If so, please accept this chocolate. Aiden didn't answer, but reached out his hand to take it. Suddenly, the children called out to Elisa, I want some too. She then handed out the chocolate in a very cheerful mood. Use the Rebella name. When will the pretty lady come again? I hope she brings lots of cookies. I like the clothes she brings more. Me too. Children, the Duchess is not feeling well today, so she won't be coming. Really? Is the pretty lady sick? We can't see the pretty lady today. Watching the children cry because Elisa didn't come today, Aiden thought to himself, perhaps I put a little too much pressure on her. She frequently came to the temple during a time when she must be extremely careful, so it's inevitable that her body would fall ill. But what is it, Your Holiness? It's nothing, let's go. Scene change. Christian and Rose were asked by their father, When will I see an heir? You two have been married for 4 years. Someone else already has an heir right after returning from the battlefield. Rose silently told herself, It's not my fault. Christian often avoids my room. Of course, that happened at the hunting festival. He did it on purpose to be funny. At this moment, the emperor asked, Christian, do you have any woman who is pregnant? That is. Butler, go search for the child of royal blood. Yes, Your Majesty. No, Your Majesty. How can that child be brought into the palace? That child can enter the palace, but that means they will be the heir. This child will be a temporary heir until the real child appears. Besides, that child needs to enter the palace so we can negotiate more easily in the future. Your Majesty, you've startled me. You two know what you have to do, right? You need to bring an heir here as soon as possible. Rose said, Your Highness, if you are not busy tonight. Before she could finish, he pushed her away. I'm tired. Rose cursed silently. Damn it, it's no use. At this rate, I'll be seen as a childless crown princess. Elisa, you will pay for this. Then she called her maid. Are you there? Your Highness, contact the Merchant Guild. What should I do when that person arrives? Bring that person in here and make sure no one knows anything about it. On Elisa's side, and came in and called for her lady. How are you feeling? I'm feeling better. That's right. The children at the temple wrote letters to you, my lady. Letters? The children heard that you weren't well today, so they wrote letters to you. Oh my, I hope the pretty lady gets well soon. We miss the pretty lady a lot. Pretty lady, please don't get sick. Elisa read the words in the letter with a slight smile on her lips. Anne, yes, my lady. Let's go out. Do you think the children will like these cookies? As long as it's from you, my lady, the children will love it. Then let's go to the bookstore and then to the temple. Yes. Suddenly, Elisa stopped short. It's the Royal Knights. What are they doing in the square? And asked, Is something wrong? Elisa gave a dismissive laugh and said, It's nothing. Let's go. A while later at the bookstore. Where is the fairy tale section? Here it is. I'll buy a few books. Suddenly, her gaze stopped in surprise. Huh, it's a child with a grimy face and tattered clothes. Seeing Elisa, he quickly stuffed the book inside his shirt. Elisa placed her hand on the boy's shoulder. Wait, little one, you can't just take that with you. Listen here, stealing is a very bad thing. If you take other people's things without paying, a scary gentleman will come and take you away. So give me that book. Just then, someone came over and asked, "Oh, miss, have you chosen a book yet? What kind of book would you like to buy, miss?" The boy looked up, and a man immediately spotted him. "I've finally caught you, you thief. Give it back to me." I said, "Give it back to me." He clenched his fist and yelled, You want to die, don't you?" He menacingly raised his hand high. "Do I have to hit you to knock some sense into you?" This terrified the boy. Suddenly, the man stopped and asked, "Are you this little thief's guardian? This has nothing to do with you, my lady, so don't interfere." Interfere? How dare you abuse a child in front of the mistress of Rebellin? Rebellin? Could it be the Duchess? It can't be. What? Should I call the knights over right now? They're waiting outside the bookstore as we speak. No, there's no need. I acted too rudely. It's just that there are so many petty thieves like this that I got too worked up. My lady, you can't cover for this kid, because if we keep letting it slide, the same thing will happen again next time. Kids like this don't change easily. No matter what, using violence on a child who is only about 4 or 5 years old is unacceptable. Why, you're right, my lady. But also, if it weren't for me, would you even have known you were missing a book? Huh, what do you mean? You were busy with your own things in the back over there. If I hadn't stopped the boy, your book would have vanished into thin air. That's true. I will compensate you for your loss. But you must properly apologize to the boy for your violent actions just now. Forget about discipline. You couldn't even control your anger and were about to strike someone. I will buy the book the boy stole. Furthermore, I will take him with me. Oh my, I understand, my lady. I'm sorry for almost hitting you earlier, kid. Elisa called, "Little one, come stand next to me." The boy immediately went and clung to her clothes. A while later, "Eat slowly or you'll choke." "Little one, did someone tell you to steal the book?" Seeing the boy didn't answer, she thought, as I thought, he can't speak, perhaps because he's afraid of being scolded by the person who told him to steal. Because a boy of only 4 or 5 years old wouldn't know that books are such a high-value item to steal. But wait, why do I feel like I've seen this boy somewhere before, especially that red hair? She asked doubtfully, "Kid, what's your name?" "Rian." "What? Rian?" If it's Rian, then that's the name of the rival who competes with Hinz. He's the male lead of this novel, Birdcage. The feeling now is very different from a cold-blooded executioner, so I didn't recognize him. Wait, could this be that moment from the original story? After the royal family ordered a search for Christian's illegitimate child, Rose secretly sent soldiers to kill the child first. Rian, pursued by soldiers into a dead end, suddenly discovered his power. Unable to control it, he burned down a nearby village. This incident caught the attention of the royal family, and Rian was captured. He then endured an incredibly painful childhood. Richard was the same. After his biological mother passed away, it's understandable that Rian turned out this way. I can't just leave Rian like this. But I can't take him to the ducal house either. That's right, that place. She said, "Rian, it's dangerous for you to stay here. Do you want to come with me?" Yes. Their conversation was unfortunately overheard by 2 cloaked figures. Afterwards, Elisa took Rian to Pope Aidan. "May I come in?" Elisa said, "Thank you so much for seeing me even though I came so suddenly. It's quite all right. It seems your health has improved." The children were very worried when they heard the news last time. "I'm fine now." I also feel bad for making the children worry like that. "So, the reason you came to see me today is because of this child, isn't it?" "Yes, I hope that you will personally take this child in." "Rian, can you do what you did in the carriage earlier?" Rian immediately raised his hands, creating a blazing red flame. "And this is the reason. I'd like to speak with you privately for a moment, madam. It is indeed very surprising. I didn't expect a child with royal blood to, but you wanted to take him in. You must feel burdened by having to hide a child who belongs to the royal family. But if the royal family finds out the child was brought to the temple, you just need to say that this was to protect the child from someone who wants to eliminate the royal bloodline. That will be enough. How do you know someone from the royal family wants to kill the child, madam? The royal family is sending people to search for the crown prince's bloodline. But there is one person who does not want the crown prince's illegitimate child to appear. Is it the crown princess? Yes. The crown princess has sent people to find and kill the child before His Majesty finds him. I will also dispatch knights to work on it and can find evidence within a few days. So please, trust me and take Rian in, won't you? I'm counting on you. If this child is considered a threat, he might be taken away from here. Fire-based powers are very dangerous. From what I've seen, the boy doesn't seem to know how to use that ability proficiently yet. That flame will surely burn everything. As His Holiness the Pope said, it could turn into a dangerous flame that incinerates even life itself. But if you are by His side, could it become a ray of light that warms everyone? I believe you can turn Rian's flame into something better. Why do you think so? Because you're the most righteous person I have ever known. Hearing this, Aiden smiled and said, you must find a lead within this week. Elisa also replied cheerfully, of course. That night at the residence, Elisa thought to herself, let's see. In the original storyline, Rose hired a group of minions and kept a secret from her family, the Braymore family. Rose would become suspicious if she eliminated those loyal to her, but she can't just order her father's people around so presumptuously. Also because they're not loyal to Rose, so those guys could betray her at any time. Mercenaries only follow money, not loyalty. Therefore, inciting them with money and power is quite easy. It might be easier than I thought, but to have her find the mercenaries herself. Suddenly, Richard came in, interrupting Elisa's train of thought. Are you asleep yet? Richard, there are a few things I want to discuss with you. I understand. Just leave that to me. If it's that kind of matter, it's better for me to handle it. Is there anything else you want to say? No, that's not what that person wanted me to say. I wonder, in your opinion, is this like looking for a needle in a haystack? Suddenly, a mercenary appears, and then an assassination. Richard said, stop, and took her hand. No matter what you say, I'll still believe you. So what if I cheated on you? If you're cheating on me, then you've failed. If you can, of course you can't do that. I understand, I get it. Ahem, she said, blushing, I need to sleep early. With that, she went inside. Richard smiled and said, all right. Later, at a place where a group of people were gathered and talking, they heard a loud noise outside. What was that? Richard walked in from outside and asked coldly, who's in charge of this place? One man drew his sword and raised his voice. Is this guy kidding? How dare you talk to us in that tone? Do we look like pushovers? He lunged forward, swinging his sword at Richard, who easily dodged to the side, then grabbed him and casually threw him away with a whoosh. I'll ask again, who's in charge of this place? The remaining two, pale with fear, immediately led Richard to meet the manager. Are you the manager of this association? Who are you and why are you here? Tell the members who are following the Crown Princess's orders to withdraw. I don't know what you're talking about. Fine, I'll say it again. Suddenly, a gust of wind howled. This wind, could it be, bring the members of this association, the ones who are following the Crown Princess's orders, back? If you don't comply with this request, everyone will die. A while later, I got the evidence. Let's head back early. Richard seemed to notice someone was following him. He immediately quickened his pace and turned into a hidden alley. I can't lose his trail. Are you looking for me? He turned around to see Richard floating in the air. Count Ansel, you're quite good at secretly following me. For a count, that's pretty good. So what? What is it you want to talk about regarding Elisa? This is an extremely rude question, so I'm still considering it. But how much do you love Elisa? Richard slammed his teacup down on the table. What is the hidden meaning behind that question? The reason I was following you was to judge whether it would be all right to tell you this truth. What truth? You must know that Viscount Lonegreen's villa is in Sani, right? Elisa asked me to buy that villa and renovate it completely. She intended to live there after divorcing you. I followed Elisa's request, bought and renovated the villa, and waited for Elisa there. But I met an old man in front of the villa. He said he had lived his whole life in Sani as a doctor. He was Elisa's primary physician. What's more, he said that Elisa had died of a lung disease 8 years ago. You came all this way to find me just because of the words of a senile old man? I thought so too at first, until I saw the portrait in the villa's hallway. The little girl in the painting was not the 12-year-old Elisa I knew. If the person in the painting is truly Elisa Lonegreen, then who on earth is the Elisa I know? I couldn't stop thinking about it. Richard was secretly surprised. Not Elisa Lonegreen? Really? Wait a minute. If what the Count says is true, then the current Elisa is essentially deceiving everyone about her identity. If this truth gets out, Elisa could be in great danger. I have to prevent that. I can't just stand by and watch Elisa get hurt. With that thought, Richard asked, have you looked into Elisa's paternal family? No, I didn't dig any deeper into it. When I returned to the capital, I intended to tell Elisa. But in the end, I couldn't bring myself to say it. It was while I was in turmoil that I met you, Duke. So Elisa doesn't know anything about this yet. It's a good thing you handled it correctly. You don't seem too shocked by this, do you? Why should I be shocked? No matter what, the fact that Elisa is my precious family will not change. I also hope that you won't be swayed by this matter. Not for Elisa's sake, but for my own. Your ambition. Don't show it in front of Elisa. Ansel was silent for a moment, then replied, "That's fine." After the conversation ended, Richard went to Elisa's room and found her sleeping on the bed. Sleeping so early? He came and sat beside her, gently brushing her hair back. "Sorry, I woke you up. Is something wrong? You don't look well." "It's nothing, go back to sleep," she replied, and closed her eyes again, drifting off to sleep. Richard thought deceiving one's identity and getting married is almost impossible, because the one who arranged this marriage was Anby. He wouldn't be so easily fooled. Elisa lost her memories due to the shock of an accident in her childhood. If that's true, then perhaps Elisa still hasn't remembered everything. It's possible Elisa has lost her memories related to Lone Green. If so, it means that Anby decided to fake Elisa's identity from the very beginning. But Anby is already dead. The dead can't tell the truth. As expected, after thinking for a while, Richard called for Thompson. "Find someone for me." "Who do you need to find, sir?" "Aaron Koa. Is it your former assistant?" "That's right. Find him and bring him before me." Scene change. Rose held a letter in her hand and fumed. Cowardly bunch. How dare they ignore my request? Ah, damn it. Elisa, you cunning bitch. By any means necessary, I must snatch that child. The next morning, Elisa woke up. "I've overslept. I have to go to the temple today. It must be because Richard has been spoiling me more lately, so I'm more relaxed." "Madam, may I come in?" "Yes, come in." "Did you sleep well, madam?" "Yes, I slept very well. I thought you might be thirsty, madam, so I brought some water. The water for washing your face will be here shortly." "Thank you, and oh, there's a letter for you, madam." "A letter for me?" Elisa smiled after reading the letter. "So you want to meet?" "Fine." Then Elisa slowly stepped out of the carriage. She thought to herself, "The crown princess directly invited me to the palace. It must be something urgent. The crown princess is waiting for the duchess. Please follow me. Please come inside, your grace." "The duchess has arrived?" Elisa bowed. "I greet the crown princess. You can see me even though you haven't fully recovered." "Thank you." "It's nothing. I was just a little surprised since this is the first time I've been summoned to the palace. Because of the long-standing friendship between our two families, I wanted to invite you for a private tea." "Oh my, thank you for your special consideration, your highness. Since I've made the effort to come here, shall we have a cup of tea?" Elisa thought to herself, how ridiculous. She prepared a type of tea that isn't good for pregnant women. "My apologies, your highness. I'm still experiencing morning sickness, so I can't drink it." "Goodness, I apologize. I was inconsiderate and didn't prepare well." "Not at all. I thank you for your kindness, your highness." "Ah, I've heard that you often help poor and hungry children. As a crown princess, I want to personally express my gratitude to you. It's only natural that I should do so. What is there to thank me for?" "Recently, you've also been helping children who have lost their parents, haven't you?" "Yes, that's right. Those children still need protection, so I've taken them to orphanages in the neighboring areas." "Can you tell me where that orphanage is?" "Someone like me, who may become the mother of a nation in the future, has a great interest in this matter." Elisa asked, "Is there any special reason why you must provide aid to that specific orphanage?" "You understand what I mean. As long as it's an orphanage within the empire, shouldn't